Welcome to People Talking Sitting Down.
What you said about getting up and moving if you don't like it, it's like you started this pattern in your life where if something's wrong, you do something about it and you take control. It's a sense of being out of control.
There's different levels to it of like everything. There's nothing that's gonna fix it except for you. I would love for every woman to feel confident because there's nothing worse than feeling insecure and just shitty. And you also have like people that are in really good shape that don't feel good. Feeling insecure about your body and when you try on an outfit and you look in the mirror and you're like, I look like shit. That sucks.
Well, Darby, thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me.
How do you say your last name?
Sinunu.
Sinunu. Wait.
You just said it wrong.
I know.
So there's two different ways to say it. We say Sinunu, but for most people, they say Sinunu. We just kind of roll with it. Yeah.
Sinunu.
It used to be spelled Sununu. Wait, did I actually do that right? It's 3 U's. So it's Sinunu is how we changed it when we came to the US.
From?
Palestine.
Okay.
Yeah. So they kept it SUN like the old school way. And then I don't know why changing from the U to the I, they were like, this will make us blend in.
Do you know what it means?
No.
Aren't you
No,
also,
I
don't you have more than just Palestinian?
I'm a mutt. So my dad's mostly Greek.
Okay.
So Greek, Palestinian, and then my mom's Italian and a little French. So we got some roots in us. Yeah. It's an interesting combo. The household growing up was good food, but I was definitely raised Greek.
What's your family? All right, so like a little bit of context for anybody listening or watching. First off, thank you. But Darby and I work together, and
we are
Darby
coworkers.
referred me to. We worked at a different company together, and then you referred me and hooked me up. So thank you, I appreciate it. But I feel like we've had several conversations, but we haven't I don't know what your family's like. I don't know really any of the background of who you are. So I'm excited to get to know more of that today. But how many siblings?
I have an older brother.
Just an older brother.
One older brother. What an interesting dynamic growing up.
Yeah,
we beefed with each other so much. I think until maybe till I hit 27. And for reference, I'm 28. So very recently, because he's older, had his friends, and I don't know. It was just we always fought.
How much older?
2 years older.
2 years. Okay. All right.
But I like that we fought growing up because he gave me such a good point of view of men, right? And being exposed to dating and expectations and having that mindset. And then also, he is the reason I'm a little rough around the edges. So my 2 roommates in college, Kendra, one of my best friends, or 2 of my best friends, Kendra has 3 brothers. And Carly has 1 sister. So when the 3 of us lived together, we would always be the way that we would operate and fight over things was so different. Because Kendra would be we'd be cursing at each other and all this stuff. And then it was just such a different dynamic. Yeah. Such a different point of view.
And I don't want to be, one reason I was excited to have you, come do this is that I think that you're all over the place, just like me. You don't take offense to anything. You have real conversations. You, try to be straight up, but and I don't know how to say this, but you do have masculine energy to you. I've
never heard that before. I'm just kidding.
I was going to say
I hear that all the time, but I think it's because my mom was in my household growing up, my dad is super nice, sweetheart, really intimidating. Guys will be the 2 guys that I brought home, they'll be your dad's kind of scary because he doesn't talk a lot, but he's like a teddy bear. My mom's very outspoken, very direct, super kind and loving, nurturing, all that stuff, but a super strong woman. So I just kind of adopted that. Yeah. And I try to be feminine and girly, but we'll get there.
I was wondering if it comes from being a younger sister 2 years to an older brother, because it's kind of my little brother's a year and a half younger than me, and I imagine that there's a similar dynamic of you said, fighting and and especially it is. I'm fascinated by, again, how people grow up and how much it influences them.
I think if I grew up with an older sister, I would be a completely different person.
Yeah.
Completely.
Yeah.
The things that I think a lot of the reasons too, like the masculine energy, right? That probably comes from, you know, if I'm stealing something from my brother's closet, right? Like a sweatshirt. He wouldn't be like, oh my God, like he'd rip it off me, punch me in the chest and leave. Like, and that was that. And that's how Kendra and I kind of operated versus Carly and I. And that's still the dynamic that we have.
Yeah.
It's really interesting, but I don't regret it. Don't regret it.
One of the things we were talking about right before we started this was that, like, you know, what's the audience? And I said, it's like about like 90% men who listen to this. And it's one of the reasons I was excited to have you on too, is like asking just some basic what is it like to be a girl questions. Like I was saying to Max and Mitchell before we started, I'm like, there's so many things about, whether it be dating, whether it be, again, relationships, friendships, like men and women are so different. And I don't think that we acknowledge it enough of like, no, we're literally wired differently. Like we have different primal needs, desires, everything. Like and we all try to operate as if it's, you know, when we're working, it's like, we're both in sales. And like, I was on a sales call the other day and I was like, there's a difference if you're have the salesperson and a prospect when one's a woman and one's a woman, or one's a man and one's a woman, or back and forth, two men.
100%.
It's massive different. And it's just like the relatableness, the style of the conversation is different. And that's like, these things could be, I don't want to say that like offensive is not the right word, but it's like, oh, everything should be the same. It's like, well, it's not.
I don't agree with that either.
Yeah.
I straight up don't agree with that. Like, I believe in traditional roles. I think men and women need to be nicer to each other. We have different roles and that's okay. We don't all have to like the same thing. And like, I think that society is pressuring us too much to be one, like one gender or like one role, and like women can do what men can. Listen, if I'm on a stranded island, I'm not taking Carly. I'm taking like one of my other friends. Sorry, Carly. But like, there's certain things that like men, like male mechanics, right?
Yeah.
Female hairdressers. That's okay.
Yeah.
We're good at different things. It's not a bad thing.
I just saw stats the other day of like, it's like firefighters, trash men, like all these like male dominated things. And it's like, and again, it was like one of those Twitter, you know, people farming engagement to just say like, get people riled up. Like, oh, like women don't want to say, it's like, all right. But like, also it's just like, if you think logically, trash, you're picking up trash. You're for 8 hours a day, you're tossing, you have to be big and strong and be able to like physically do that.
And you have to want to do it.
Yeah.
Girls are not going to want to do that.
That's another good point. Like, I bet you could actually I bet you could do it.
I don't want to. But if I needed to, I could.
Yeah.
Same with, honestly, I was talking to a friend of mine that was, he's in the military. And he was like, you know, I think you could do it. And I was like, I know I probably could. It would be tough. You could do it, but I don't really want to. And like, shout out to all the women that do join the military, because that's badass shit. But there's certain things that like I just don't want to do, that I don't need to do, that I'm never going to do. Yeah. And that's okay.
Yeah.
So.
And I also like, I'm overthinking all of these things because I don't want to say the wrong thing, which is like it's a bad.
I think most people, I think most people are probably thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
I think 90%, the world tries to divide us so much. A lot of us, agree on the same thing.
Yeah. It's like, I want, like you should want, in my opinion, like I want women to be able to do especially like emotional type things. And like when I think about having a family and a mother, like one of the things that I've been thinking about lately is like how much I want to provide a life, hopefully through this at some point down the road, to be able to have a stay-at-home mom. I think it's the biggest gift in the world to have a wife that can look after their kids 24. And like, look, that's awesome if a girl wants to work, and that's great. Like I respect that and whatnot. But like, I just think it's like, I grew up with my mom until I was like 12, being a stay-at-home mom.
Me too.
And it's like, it's the sickest
thing ever.
To run errands with your mom and kick it. Like I never had to do the daycare. I never had to do like, and I don't know. You
get those family values instilled in you instead of school systems.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is key, I think, too.
Yeah.
Was thinking about that too. And my mom, just for context too, made more money than my dad to start. But my dad was like, you know, especially from the Greek household, you know, with all that, he's like, I want you to be a stay-at-home mom. I want you to stay home with the kids, raise them, all that good stuff. So even when my dad was overseas, because he does international sales, he was in like Vietnam for like the first 2 years of my life.
That's wild.
But yeah, he was, I mean, I obviously don't remember, but like my mom, now that I'm older, like tells me now, like your dad was like working, trying to grind and do all this stuff. Cause this was before Zoom. This was before like cell phones. I remember my mom would have to call his like landline to be like, are you coming home for dinner? Like, which is so weird. I'm like, I forgot that like we did that.
Yeah, that is weird.
But so I grew up like with my mom, and she was like, you always want to have your own career, but you also want to have the choice to like raise your kids. And she was like, I would never put my kids into after school or this or that. And I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
Yeah. It's, I also think that it's just such a heavy ask for teachers and caretakers to like, again, to be now, like they're not only teachers, and of course they're also like looking after children, like 20 of them at a time, but now they're like culture warriors where they're supposed to like teach culture and just like all these other things that, it's so intense. It's just like, man, I wish we didn't have to, I don't know. The teachers I've talked to, it's just, it sounds so different. And I'm 28 too. Like it's like, we're not that far removed. We were in high school 10 years ago.
You're right.
Yeah. And it's like,
I'm way younger than I thought I was. I feel so far removed from that.
And it's a completely different world now.
Yeah. I feel like too, like you're 1995 baby.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. I loved the like era that we grew up in. It was perfect because like I remember digging for worms outside. Like I was never playing video games or doing anything. We had like the Atari and like computers just came out. I had to like LimeWire.
Oh my God.
All that stuff, burn CDs. My dad was like, how many damn computers are we going to break in this household? It was just such a different upbringing, but social media too has like screwed everybody up.
Yeah.
Everyone's weird.
Yeah. All right. So let's get into that. So there's like literally 100, 1,000 different things that topics I want to cover here. But one of them is specifically social media, your activity on social media, your goals with social media, and talking about your fitness transformation, because it's wild. Like it, one of the things I'll say, and this is, I don't know if anybody's, I don't think I'm calling you out here, but like you have a picture on Instagram and the caption is art. And it's literally just but it's true. You've worked really hard to work out and to take care of yourself and to like have the body that you have.
Yeah.
And that's like that. There's a lot to respect about that.
Thank you.
It's obviously like you just posted the transformation picture. It's been a long
time.
And
that's why I posted it, was because like people were like, oh, it's genetics and this and that. And so I was an athlete growing up. I played soccer, did competitive soccer up until college. Went to college, didn't want to pursue soccer. I was so burnt out at like 17. And I also, there was no way I was going to go D1. So like, let's be honest with myself, I wasn't good enough. It's just the reality of it, of what I wanted to do. So I was like, if I'm going to do it, I want to do D1 and like really take it far. But I stopped working out. I had been running and like doing like trainings and agility trainings and weightlifting at like 15, like 14, you know, so why was I like benching at like 15? Kind of weird now thinking back, but, and then in college, because I grew up, like my mom, like I was saying, is like conservative, like old school. I think I was really kind of like protected. I went crazy in college, like drinking.
Really?
I was a binge drinker. Like my old roommates, Carly and Kendra that I was talking about, sent me videos of me, and I laughed at first, and then I was like, this is sad.
So did you drink in high school? Like
I tried. I got caught all the time. My mom had a breathalyzer.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, I got caught drinking. I think I was like 14. It was such a bad experience.
That's kind of the way, like that's always been my opinion. It's the way it goes. I had a very different, I was able, my mom was really cool. And she was like, if you're drinking, just tell me where you are so I know that you're safe. And like, if you need me, call me. But like drinking through college or drinking through high school, I think it prepares you. And
you kind of burn out. You're like, all right, it's not that great.
Yeah, yeah.
You're like, whatever. It's the same thing with like clubbing now. Like my younger friends are like, we want to go clubbing. I'm like, how many times can I sit at a table? Like, it's not.
What are we doing here?
Exactly. So, but then after, college, like I drank a lot. I like wasn't working out, or I was, but it wasn't what it was supposed to be. And I was crazy on the Flaming Hot Cheetos train. I would get like so many, like just they were all over the place. I would eat a ton of those. Like I wasn't eating right at all. Wasn't fueling my body. And then I came back. This is another example of having an older brother. I came back and I remember I was like, oh, I need to lose weight. This was like a year later for Christmas. And I was eating a salad. My brother's like, you just like shouldn't eat. I My mom was like, yeah, you like gained weight. And like my family was super, but like, why would that be a bad thing? You know, people get offended by that. But my mom was like, you don't look good. You're 19. Why do you not look good? Get back to where you were. And she was very nice about it. Tell me, you know, this is the healthy way you need to do it, yada, yada. And so I was like, all right, fine. I lost weight my senior year. So I came back and everyone was like, oh, you look good. But I felt like skinny fat, you know, where it's like I wasn't toned or anything. So then after college, I was like, all right, I had my partying for 4 years. I know what it's like as a female to be so like insecure about my body. I'm just going to change it. So I was, you know, did you feel like from college into like adulthood, was it like such a weird time for you?
I started working full time my senior spring semester.
Oh.
So I was coming back and I had a weird transition compared to everybody else because of that. So it kind of like, I didn't like get to have that like, you know, summer after senior year with like nothing. And like, I didn't, so it was, I don't know if I did have the transition.
I went right into work too. I started June 7th. I remember I graduated. I don't know why I said June 7th. I don't even know if that's true. June 18th was actually the date, but I didn't have a lot of time in between. But I was like, I was lost. I was working a job I hated. I was working probably 60 hours a week.
Really? What were you doing?
I was working at New Day USA. Do you know the company?
Wait, is this like a loan type company or something? Sharky?
It's veteran, it's VA loans. And we were in office because remote work didn't exist because this was like 2017, 2018. And I was miserable, and I can get into that, but this is just kind of like explaining the fitness transformation. I didn't have time to work out, or I didn't think so because I wasn't willing to get up at 5 o'clock like I do now. And so I was just so unhappy with my life. And I went to my doctor and I was like, I'm miserable. And she was like, you have clinical depression. And I was like, that makes sense. It makes total sense. My mom, like, there's like mental health in my family. Yeah. And it kind of was like, oh, so maybe I'm not just going through something. Maybe it's something else. And she was explaining like serotonin and blah, blah, blah. So she put me on these meds. I took them for 6 months, hated them. And then I got all pissed off because I was like, look at me. I'm not in shape. I'm working a job I hate. I'm supposed to be in my prime. So I just stopped taking them. And then I just was like, screw it. I'm going to go to the gym every single day. And I need to just lose weight and get fit. And that's it. That's all it took. And people are like, it's just discipline. It's all you, you know? Even though like my family told me, oh, you don't look good. Or like my doctor was like, you're, you know, depressed and blah, blah, blah. She almost gave me like a victim mentality that I switched doctors. I was not cool with that.
Interesting. Mm-hmm. That, I've been approached about the same thing about taking meds.
I'm not for it personally.
Yeah. And it's just like that. And I'm thinking the same way that you're, it's like, oh, I know A and B are happening because of this reason. Well, the reason is, again, like you said, like, well, I'm not working out. I'm not doing the right things.
Yeah.
I'm not, you know, again, treating my body and my soul and like all the things that I need to do. Like I like to read. I like to like watch documentaries. I like to go for hikes and meditate and do like weird crunchy type stuff. I shouldn't call it weird, but like, you know what I mean? But like when I get away from doing that and try to run with the crowd, like then I'm not happy, you know? And it's like,
yeah,
it's so on point that you're like, I can just fix this. I know how to do it.
I'm not bad enough where I needed meds. And no one told me. I know that I'm an adult. I'm educated. I should know this. Why would you not encourage me to try to work out? So I Googled how to, it's serotonin, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Just because I always confuse that and dopamine. But so I looked up like natural remedies. First thing was working out. I'm like, cool, I'll try it. It fixed it. Yeah. What the hell? Why was that not suggested to me? It was like, oh, you're messed up. Here's a pill and that'll cost $50 a month or whatever it is.
So what do you bet? Like cause you post these 5 a.m. I was telling a friend the other day, I was like, yeah, like my friend Darby's coming up and this is like what we're going to talk about. And I was like, yeah, she's posting these like Instagram stories at 5:11 a.m.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
that's not the norm.
You're already like at the rack. And I'm like, what time did you wake up? Like, I'm like, rack. Like,
me and all the troubled crackheads.
But in that picture, like I see, and you've like captioned it sometimes, like this is somebody with mental health, like how you deal with mental health. Like it's like you're in there fighting demons.
And I feel amazing.
Yeah.
And it's literally the best release. It's not even funny.
Yeah. Do you think about stuff when you're like, how do you work out? Do you listen to podcasts? Do you listen to music?
I listen to Lil Baby.
No.
that is my go-to. But the reason I like it is because I forget about everything.
Okay.
But I'm also at a point in my life where like I'm very fortunate and extremely blessed. Like all the issues that I think that I had before just like evened out due to me changing things that I did not like in it. You know, I wasn't just sitting there waiting like, woohoo, woe is me. If I didn't like, you know, a certain thing, I know like I was living in Baltimore. I didn't like Baltimore. I got up and I moved. You know, hello. I know so many people that are like, I don't like it here. The culture, it's too, you know, it's just a bunch of losers drinking. Okay, then move.
Yeah.
Then move. What the hell? Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. So I'm just like a very like, if I don't like it, I'm going to change it.
Yeah.
But yeah, the reason I've been waking up going to the gym is because if I wake up around 4 or 5 and I'm somewhat awake, I usually cannot go back to sleep. And I sit and I go on Instagram Reels and is an absolute waste of my time. So I do watch Reels and like I enjoy them. But like if I look at my screen time, like the other day I woke up at 1:30. I could not fall back asleep.
Whoa.
So 1:30, it was 3:30. So 2 hours of me on Instagram, which was entertaining, but like I try to put my phone down. Now like I'm awake, right? So you're supposed to put your phone down before you sleep, which I obviously did not do. I just got up. I was like, screw it. I'm going to get to the gym. I didn't know the gym didn't open until 5. So I'm there waiting outside at 4:35. And I'm like, when is the gym going to open? So, but yeah, there was a ton of people there too. So when people make excuses, oh, I don't have the time. You do.
Yeah.
There's people.
And that's the thing is like what you said about getting up and moving if you don't like it. It's like you've started this pattern in your life where if something's wrong, you do something about it and you take control.
Yeah.
And I think that that's what depression a lot of times is, in my personal opinion, how I've dealt or, you know, have felt through these things is like, it's a sense of being out of control. It's I wake up every single day and it's like whether it's sunny out or not, but it's like the gravity of my world and my reality is cloudy and I'm sad about it. And I feel it's like you feel out of control and then you just give up that ability to fight back.
And that's why like there are certain people that have it so bad where like I have a friend that like she cannot get out of bed. She cannot travel. It's like terrible.
Yeah.
I was not like that, right? It's kind of like there's different levels to it of like everything.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, this is early enough where I can like fix it. So why would I not do it? But for people like that, like it's so, I feel so bad for people, but there's nothing that's going to fix it except for you.
Yeah.
It's just the reality of it. You can take drugs all day long. You're still going to have issues.
Yeah.
It's perception. A lot of things are perception. And you have to get over it.
That's what I'm probably too far on the spectrum of like thinking that you have to deal with everything. Like I want to deal with every nook and cranny in my brain, every single problem.
We are different.
I want to
I push some things back so far.
I want to face, and that's the thing is like you naturally, you know, I naturally do, but those are things that I'm not even conscious of, you know, they come out, but like you have to fight it some way. And again, like you're fighting it through fitness.
Yeah. And I will always do that. And now it's just who I am as a person.
Yeah.
And I wish that, so it's interesting too, because I have friends that will be like, can you write me a plan? Like, can you like, you know, help me with my meal prep? I know you're not going to do it. So no.
Yeah.
No. I would love to, like my goal would be to help women be confident. I mean, men too, but it's interesting because like I have more of like a male audience, but like women are the ones that reach out, of course.
Yeah.
I would love for every woman to feel confident because there's nothing worse than feeling insecure and just shitty. And you also have like people that are in really good shape that don't feel good, you know, or insecure. But I think feeling insecure about your body and when you try on an outfit and you look in the mirror and you're like, I look like shit. That sucks.
So have you always been this confident?
No. My God. So college, when I was drinking, that was the huge outlet for me. I feel like I was so insecure. But it's like that was also when Instagram was getting big too. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
That's a whole can of worms. Like
let's open it because that's one of the things where it's like I feel so badly. Like when I go online and I see and I think from a guy's perspective, it's slightly different, but it's like, oh dude, like I just saw somebody on LinkedIn, a kid that's my age, play lacrosse with me. He's awesome. He's a man, but he like just became a vice president at a firm. I'm like, damn, like, geez, you know, and you think about, like, I thought about that on my walk and I'm like, that clearly affected me in some way that I like stored that and, you know, and thought about it in a certain way. But for women, it's like, you're surrounded all the time by perfect people that it's not real. That's not real life.
It's actually really not. If you go to, like, I was at Anatomy in Miami a few weeks ago. I saw this girl walk in and I felt bad because I was like, ew. But I know she looks good on Instagram.
Yeah.
The BBL, the lips, the this, the that. I was like, whoa.
What is BBL?
A Brazilian butt lift.
Oh.
Like the big fake.
Yeah, that's
butts.
a thing now.
Yeah. And also, like, what are you doing in the gym? Go home. We know that. We know that is not true. Like, that's not legit. But I felt bad because I was like, this is clearly somebody that's like in their 20s that looks like not good in person. But you're exposed to all that stuff. And I feel like my parents did a good job growing up being like, you're never going to be the prettiest. You're never going to be the smartest. You're never going to be the most successful, but be you, you know? And also, you're going to compare yourself to people, but I think what helped with my confidence a lot was going through my fat phase. Because even though I was insecure then, I feel like I got really funny. I was the duff of the friend group. I was the designated ugly fat friend. Swear to God. Because, I mean, now, if you were to look back at pictures of me, you wouldn't be like, you look that different or terrible. But my friends were all so hot and so skinny in college that I was like, well, shit, I guess I got to be like the funny one.
And that was your perception. And then regardless, that was your perception and that was your reality.
Yeah.
So that's the thing is like, you can be like, that's like, I was thinking about body dysmorphia the other day. It's like people look in the mirror and they literally see fat. And honestly, it's happened to me sometimes when I like go back and I see the camera. I'm like, oh wait, dude, it's not that bad.
I don't even want to know what these angles be.
Yeah, it's like,
looking like.
But like it's like, dude, you're fine. But it's like you wake up and you sometimes like people literally, and like it's not like that bad for me, but like I'm saying, there's people out there like, anorexic and all that kind of stuff where it's like, no, they literally, their eyes are showing them a fat person and it's just not there. You know,
I get it sometimes, not as much anymore. I'm like pretty self-aware, but there was times when I was like going through my fitness like journey and I was skinny and I was like, I'm fat. But looking back, I'm 5'9". So like when I like lose, so I weigh 150 pounds right now and I've been like between 148 and 150. And like that's a healthy weight for me. I was like close to 140 and I looked like a string bean and I was like, I need to lose more weight. No, girl, you look like Slender Man. It was not cute. It was not cute. But I really looked in the mirror and saw something totally different.
Yeah.
So I think the other thing too that's really helped me is just being more like spiritual. I say not really like religious because like I don't go to church on Sundays. I don't pray, but like being more spiritual. I'm like, you know what? Even though I don't feel great, I'm looking in the mirror and I'm like, oh, I gained weight in my inner thighs. At least I'm not in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
At least I have two legs that can get me up and walk to the gym.
Yeah.
I'm going to go, even though I'm a little sleepy, but I'm not stuck in Gaza or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's ways to, it's a very dramatic way of thinking about things, but then it kind of puts stuff in perspective where like, it's not that serious. And that's why with work, I'm like, this stuff doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Like,
it brings you back to center. And that's what, like, when does it start for women? Like, when does it start? Cause I was thinking about this, like, even if you're looking at magazines, because you talked about like the age and time that we grew up, like we didn't have that, but you did have like MySpace came on and Facebook came on at a very interesting time in both of our lives.
Yeah.
Like high school, like I remember.
I think I was like 13, 14, 15.
Yeah, it was like 13.
Facebook was big.
Yeah, and MySpace started, which was, MySpace was the best.
Top 10 friends was that was some beef. We had some beef in middle school.
That was another, and that's something I've said on here a bunch of times. I'm like, we grew up in a phase where your top friends were ranked, and if a friend like bothered you, you could move them down.
Bring it back
publicly.
Bring it back. Bring back bullying.
Bring back bullying.
I'm a fan of that. Yeah, we were unhinged.
It's crazy.
That's
Vine.
why people were not offended by things because you couldn't.
Yeah, it did.
It was a much more direct world.
I wonder if it. Because sometimes I think about the negative effects, because I've always said it's like, no wonder we're all these anxious people, because like that's how things were.
I have to worry about other people.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm only worried about me. Always be nice to everybody, but I can't help if something that I say that's really not, I would never say anything that's totally out of pocket to a stranger. But if I say something that might be a little bit and you're offended, how am I supposed to, can I help you? I'm not going to say, I love people. I would never say something to upset somebody. But if I do something that's a little bit, not by the book, and it's gonna, make you mad, how do I solve this problem? I am sorry. Let's move on. It's not that deep. Yeah. Sometimes it's just not that deep.
Yeah.
I can't.
I like the mentality. What
I'm old school.
I think this Instagram thing for girls, it's scary because now it's like these kids are growing up to 13 years old and they're looking at these, again, like you said, this person that you saw. Bad. It's like, that's not a real person is what I'm trying to say. To like those, like you take 100 shots and same thing, even to an
Dude, you want to see my camera roll? Versus the pictures that I post, like it's true.
Yeah.
It is true. Like I'm not going to post a picture where like I don't look good from an angle.
Yeah, why would you?
Like this is my good side. I'm glad that this is, or like I don't even know where it's coming from, but like this is my bad side. I'm not going to take a picture where I don't look good and post it.
Yeah. It's also funny. People do have good and bad angles.
It's like a true thing.
Whatever.
I've talked about this with my plastic surgeon. Even my face out, Dr. Sultan.
Wait, so can I ask, do you have plastic surgery? Or you
yes.
do plastic surgery?
So the first thing that I did was, and I think a lot of this came from Instagram. However, when I was in private school growing up, I remember we did an art project where we did what's this called?
Symmetry?
No, the silhouette, the profile.
Okay.
A profile, and our art teacher sketched it. And I remember everyone was like, Darby's the one with the big nose. Because I'm with all these like Irish kids. And my mom's Sicilian, so she has very like long nose. And my dad, I feel like it was the Arab side just to kind of like drag down. And I was like, oh my God, I have a big nose. I'm like 7. That kind of stuck with me. But so I got my nose done. And I was fortunate enough, though, to go to a plastic surgeon. He's a facial reconstructive. I went and I got a few different, like, not quotes, but like consultations. They wanted to give me like the white girl cocaine nose. And I was like, that's not going to work with me. And I like the guy that I went to because he's Persian. And he was like, we want to keep you looking like you. We just want to take away the insecurity. I'm like, You're not going to make me look like Kim Kardashian? Like, what do you mean? So I got my nose done. I've gotten filler on my lips, which I actually recently dissolved. And I'm like trying to get them down because there's some times when like I smile. Where's my teeth? I just got duck lips and it's not cute. We're over that.
I love your awareness and willingness to like talk about it. Because that's the other thing.
I also got my boobs done too.
Really?
I did.
Does that hurt?
No.
Funny, that's my first natural question. Is like that.
Does it hurt? Painful. Why are you asking for you? Like what? What do you mean?
We were just talking about tattoos earlier. I was like, my pain tolerance physically is like 0.
That's men.
Oh yeah, wait. That's also, men. Aren't you like under?
Yeah, but like after my nose was so bad. The recovery. I urge anyone that wants to get a nose job, like I don't know if I should say this, one of our coworkers that's on my team, James. That was like a Kanye move right there. I'm not going to say it, James. He was like, I might get my nose done, not for cosmetic reasons, medical breathing, whatever. Yeah. I was like, dude, that recovery is shitty.
Really?
Shitty.
I've seen people with like the splint and like, it's just, you're black and blue.
You have tubes. They didn't even break my nose. Just so you know, they cut under here and they lift your nose up over your eyebrows. It's like my face is ripped open. What? And they're just playing around in there. And then, it's
I'm so uncomfy.
I watched surgeries before just to know what I was getting into, which is weird because it's like, why does it matter? But I was also like, what are the risks? I did a lot of research. When I got my breasts done, I wanted to lift because I went from a double D when I gained weight to a C. That's 2 cup sizes, which I don't know if you know that.
A little bit.
It's just like I felt like I didn't feel like I was saggy at all, but I was like, it could get there and I want to just do it now while I got the commission check and I have the time. And I don't regret that at all either. I had an internal lift and a very, very small implant, but I've had no body work done other than that.
Do you have any fears when you get older about that kind of stuff? And do you have any fears about, again, how much you care for your body, clearly, and the stuff that you eat, and like the natural way of doing? And obviously we text about food a lot. Like, we also, you know,
I'm crazy on the weekends, but during the week I'm very disciplined.
You clearly care about, what's in your body. And it's like, do you ever have any concerns about, and this isn't like I don't think your body's going to fall apart, but like
of course I have concerns. No, I know where you're going with this because I thought the same thing. No, honestly, because I stopped a lot with the filler. It was getting to a point where I was like, my face is looking puffy. And it's the same thing with like medicine, right? And working out. Why am I not trying a natural remedy? So I do gua sha.
What's that?
Gua sha is like this little, like, I don't know. It's Asian, but I don't know like if it's like Korean skincare or whatever it is. It's like a tool that you use for like lymphatic drainage.
Okay.
Do not medically listen to me. Do not listen to
Darby.
do not listen to Dr. Darby. And it's just like a way that you drain any like built up fluids. And I kid you not, it changed my face. My friends were like, "Did you get cheek filler?" Blah blah, which I have. But like this was in the same time that I hadn't done that yet. It literally changed my jawline, my face, but also comes with losing weight.
Yeah.
But there's easy, free ways to do things. Like people are like, I'd be hot if I had money. Okay. Well, nothing fitness wise should be like cost money. I always say that because I was wearing one of those not like a sweatband, but I'm talking about one of those, not a waist trainer. I think it's like a sweatband that you wear. It's like a Velcro sweatband.
Like at the gym, you're saying?
Yeah.
Like
I wear it in the sauna sometimes.
Okay. Yeah.
Not a lifting one, to like sweat.
Oh, okay.
It's called Sweet Sweat or some shit. And I was wearing it and I was in the locker room and this lady comes up to me and she's like, "Does that work?" And I was like, "No." Absolutely not. And I was like, "What are your goals?" She's like, "I want to lose weight." And I was like, "I'm going to tell you this and I want you to remember this. Nothing to make you lose weight costs money. No supplements, no, all of these gimmicks. You have to eat less, which will save you money. And you have to exercise more. Okay, maybe a gym membership, maybe a personal trainer, but you don't really need a personal trainer. You can go on YouTube.
Yeah.
There's ways to educate yourself. It is 2024.
Yeah.
You just have to want to do it.
You can do it. And it's free. Yeah, it's free.
It should be free.
Push-ups.
Yep.
I always say like that's.
You can do all that stuff.
It's the one thing.
That's the best workout.
Push it. Yeah. It's
I can't do 10.
And that's the only time when I had a fitness phase of getting in great shape. Not there now, but like all I did was push-ups. I did push-ups and I did jumping jacks and I jump rope, and it's like it's not. I walked and ran and that's it.
3 workouts that you need. 1, squats.
Yeah.
2, deadlifts. 3, pull-ups. That is all. If you don't know where to start, do those 3 and just do it till you can't do it, and you'll probably look pretty good.
Yeah. So I'm going to ask you some basic questions about. So first off, what is it exactly that you want to do? Because one of the exciting parts of talking to people is like, I see this in my head. Like I see this, like you're going to take a turn, like if you, and when you go for this fitness thing, it's going to work.
I hope so.
And it in my head, if you have the dedication to be able to go to the gym in the way that you do and make that transformation, if you just put that same spirit towards content, you're going to do it.
So that's the thing is like, I did TikTok for a minute, but like, I hate TikTok. I hate making TikToks. I felt super weird, like I think what I'm going to do is maybe transition it to like Instagram and post some reels and like see where it goes, because being like 28, I'm kind of over like the social media. Like I'll drop a pic every once in a while, but I don't love the content side of things as much, but it's a really good way to get there, I feel like. Because my favorite is like working with people one-on-one, It's easy to just post a picture. Like that's why I stopped doing TikTok, because the only traction I would get was bikini videos. And then people think of me different. It's the reality of it. People always say, you should be empowered to do. People look at you different.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with OnlyFans. If you have an OnlyFans, of course, do whatever you want to do, but you have to be aware of like consequences of how people view you. It's just the reality of things.
Yeah.
Again, people are saying you can't protect everyone with being offended. Like, you know what I mean? Like if my brother brought home a girl that, was masturbating on the internet, I would not be happy.
Yeah. And it's just like, and that's not, there's nothing wrong about that. There's nothing wrong about, like, I support both sides. I support, like, yeah, if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. But also there's consequences to that in the world that we live in.
And it also depends on your role too, right? Like I have friends that have done that or are doing that now too. And it doesn't bother me because you're my friend.
Yeah.
But are you going to be my sister-in-law?
But yeah, exactly.
My brother would never, by the way. He's very old school.
But it's also, you know, it's like, yo, if you have a corporate job and you're working, well, like if somebody finds that and they're watching you do that, well, like that's what's happening. And that's part of what I've processed through this is like, I've talked about some shit that like, well, it's now it's out there.
Yeah.
Like I've given up a certain level of privacy where is what it is. If somebody wants to clip this in a way that isn't good,
I know.
well, then that's what they do. And like, I have to accept that. And it's the same thing. It's like, if you're going to do cause that I agree with you with the bikini thing and with cause like I've seen it from other people and this is a fucked up thing. And I don't want to say it, but I'm just going to say it cause we got to be real. But like, there's videos out there and it's like, if women show cleavage, like you look at the numbers and it's like, okay, there's cleavage in that one. There's not.
Sex
in that
sells.
One. Exactly. And it's like, and it is like, I don't want to hate on it either because it's back to like being primal.
And I'm also like, oh, she look good. Like I'm here for it, but there's two sides to it, right? And people don't acknowledge both. And I think that there's this like false narrative. Like I totally disagree with the feminist movement. I'm not a feminist. I will never be a feminist. And I'm okay with saying that.
Can you talk through that?
100%. I think that the feminist movement has destroyed society because now you have women that are unhappy working and they're like, well, now I want a man that's masculine, right? Now we're seeing kind of like the pendulum swing a little bit. Oh, I like equality, right? Okay, if there's a draft, we're all going. Do we really, like, if you're really that much of a feminist, are you going to go overseas and fight? You're probably not going to want to. It's too extreme. I'm a big proponent of, I love women. I'm a girl's girl, like first by all means, but I just can't get behind it. I can't get behind the free the nipple movement.
Yeah.
Because I know how detrimental that is to women.
Yeah.
It's not good.
It's distorting is what I think that it is. Cause it's not
it's
a
giving
bad
men
thing.
what they want. Truly. You know, you have men, right? And the feminist stuff going on. You have men now that get to see women naked all the time whenever they want for free or for $4.99 or whatever it is. Then they're bringing in bread too. They're also working a ton. They're not raising their kids. They're not teaching them, you know, the family values and this and that. There's so many ways that like we're giving men what they want, which is contributing monetarily like to society. And then also from like a sex perspective, you can get whatever you want whenever you want. There's no privacy.
Yeah.
So I'm not a fan and I have no problem saying that.
Yeah. Well, that's sick that you're willing to say it.
Well, but here's the other thing too.
Because other people are thinking it.
Other people are thinking it. And also, if you're really a feminist, you should empower me to believe what I want, right? Why do I have to agree with you?
Yes.
That's the hypocrisy I do not like.
It's taking that argument. And I don't know if I brought this up before on here, but one of the, if you're going to make that argument, you got to make that argument in all places then.
That's what I'm saying.
And one of the ways that it fucking drives me mad is and look, I support gay, trans, whatever you want to do. I don't really give a fuck. If you're happy, go be happy. But I had somebody reach out to me that we were going to potentially discuss him being on the podcast, and he's openly gay. He's, you know, doing a lot for the community, and that's great. I'm fine. Good for you. But like, he sent me an article and said, you know, like, this is what people in our community are dealing with. And it was a realtor.com article, and it was about parents in Texas and Florida that are complaining about having to move because their kids can't get gender affirming surgeries or hormones at a certain age. And I'm like,
emphasis on kids. So you're talking under 18.
Like 14 and 13 year olds.
Crazy. Go to California. Get out of here.
Yeah.
That's whack.
It's just, but it's just like, it's, if you're going to say that a kid has the choice at 14 years old, at 13 years old, to make a life altering decision,
an adult decision.
If you're going to say that, if that same kid comes up to you at 13 and says, I want to be with this 55-year-old guy, that's the fucking side of the argument that you're taking.
I
period.
Agree.
So it's like, if you're going to say, oh, well, he says he feels like okay, he might, but give him till I personally, I think it should be like
21.
Yeah, I was gonna say like
18. I was a crazy person.
I was gonna say 25. I was gonna say even 25. Like I have the same thing about like voting. Like I think 18 is too young.
Why can I drink, or I can't drink, but I can vote for?
Yeah. And,
I still don't get that.
Yeah, and it's like you're just not developed. And again, there are like I actually do truly believe that there's people who feel stuck in the wrong body, and that breaks my heart. That breaks my heart. But at 13, you haven't developed enough to make that call. And also, I will sit down with anybody who wants
to put someone through.
Yes.
That's what I think. I mean, like I'm
getting mad.
I agree with you 100%, and I don't like disagree that people have some really sad shit that they have to deal with, and I can't even imagine what that's like.
Yeah.
But as a parent, how can you bring your kids like willingly to like the doctor and inject them and do this and that? It's kind of like, to me, it's like not like malpractice, but it's like, I don't even know what the word is. It's just wrong to me.
Yeah, it's like I legitimately think it's wrong. Like criminal. Like I think it's
weird.
It's child. Like I don't know.
You can still accept your kid and love them and not shoot them up with hormones at 12.
Yeah.
That's weird. That's wrong.
And
I won't even say what I'm going to say. Filtered.
Part of my drive, and again, back to the questions about like how we started, about like your childhood growing up, like what I see when I see a lot of these, I've been doing all this mental health research, I'm writing a paper, I'm figuring out, talking to people. What I'm learning constantly is that when I see somebody as an adult, and we're all broken children inside, we're all trying to figure certain things out. But like, you know, and some are able to get through their day to day and have success and get over things and deal with things. Some are never able to. And that is what it is. But it's like they're all trying to fix something. And now today we're throwing so much shit at kids.
Yeah, like let them run around.
Yeah, but it's just like they're like in 20 years we're gonna look back and like we think growing up with MySpace was impactful. Like what these kids are going through is even like, again, COVID, war, not knowing like the kids, like the legitimately, and it sounds crazy and it's like sad as shit to me. Like there's fucking litter boxes in schools now, so like kids who identify as cats can pee. Like what the fuck?
No, you need to go on a special school because you're mentally unstable.
And that's the thing. It's like they're mental problems that aren't addressed. And
they try to normalize mental health, right? But when someone's actually mentally a little effed up, we can't actually address it.
Yeah.
My mom's a substitute teacher. Okay, so she goes in. The shit she tells me, dude, I'm like, thank you for never allowing me to act like that. There's kids that will just like, if she asks them to like take out, you know, a pencil or like whatever it is, she'll get into like a little bit of a tiff with them. They'll be like, you're racist. She's like, I want you to do your shit and shut up. like it's not that complicated. I went to private school growing up though. So that was interesting because I went to Catholic school from kindergarten to I think 6th grade. And when I went over to public school, I was like, yo, this is like unhinged. These kids are saying no to teachers. I was like, you can say no? I was like so disciplined, but it's also because my parents encouraged that. There was always bad kids in private school, which everyone knows. Whenever I tell people I went to private school, they're like, oh, that's where you were unhinged. Yeah. You know, the private school kids are a little wild, but it's because they were kind of like in that bubble.
Contained. And I think that I went to private school for 1 year, my 7th grade year.
You were out, in and out?
In and out. It was a behavioral, my parents, I went from elementary school being like the, you know, a good kid and everything. And like 6th grade, I had it was my worst year of my life. Like I was a bully. I was an asshole. I was like, I literally was mean. I
can't see that.
It was wild. And it was just, I mean, I know why it was, but like I needed to shock the system. And they put me from a public school that I fucking loved. Like I had so much fun and friends and all that I grew up with, to a private school in each grade was like 25 kids, and everybody had been there since kindergarten, and I was the outsider, and it was like shirt and tie, and it did shock the system. And I went back and I was like, the next year I went back to 8th grade, back to public school, and I was like, I mean, I was changed. I felt like I was.
But your parents did that, and that's the key to all of this is parenting.
Yeah,
people are having kids that should not be having kids.
Yeah, I mean,
there's some wackos.
And you can't like that. And part of like the talking about the problems here is like also wanting to talk about the solutions and like, what do we do? You can't like as much as I want to say like, look, like A and B clearly, if they're not like taking care of themselves and like, I mean, again, like there's people out here that like, it's just like, all right, you're going to bring a kid into this world. Like it's like literally cruel, but you can't stop them.
Yeah.
You can't like, with a lot of all this stuff that I've been talking about, doing, researching, whatever, I keep coming back to like, we're fucking animals. Like
I agree with you.
We're such like, this is embarrassing. And I'm now, thanks for coming on because you're helping me let it fly a little bit harder than I usually do. But I fucking like had a little win yesterday at work and I'm not joking. I beat my chest like a fucking, like,
let's go.
I was like, let's fucking go. Like I hit my goal for the week and I like literally went like this and I was like, Jesus, dude.
You're like, I'm a gorilla.
Yes. I'm like, it was natural. I didn't think about it. I literally did that. And I'm like, we're such like.
That's why I always say too, like when people wake up and they eat breakfast and they're trying to lose weight, I've said this before. I'm like, guys, breakfast shouldn't be a thing.
Yeah.
I don't agree with it. Think about primal times, right?
Big breakfast out there with the fucking
hunters and gatherers. Yeah, there's no protein pancakes at 6 a.m. What the hell? My God. You got turkey bacon over here? No. You have to work and then you eat and you fuel your body with things that are natural from the earth. Pop-Tart's not going to make you deadlift. Yeah. I'm guilty of that. But I always think about that. And just like from a food perspective too, I don't know enough. I'm not a nutritionist, but when it comes to food, I'm a big meat lover. Like I'm a fan of like fish, turkey, like all like just meat and fish.
Yeah.
And people that are vegans, I'm like, I don't know if I've seen a vegan that didn't look like they've had like a heroin addiction in the past. Like they don't look like, I don't know why they don't necessarily look as healthy to me. And I think that there's something that's like good about like meat and having that. And I was like, I think it's from like the hunting and gathering. You need both, you know?
And you also, so this is crazy. And I don't know if I'll be able to like link this or put it in, but I came across this Instagram account this fucking week that this guy's just eating raw chicken.
No, that's where I dropped.
So his whole it looked crazy. He's like day 7 of eating raw chicken until I get a stomach ache. And he's trying to prove a point by saying, there's people, and like, cause I clicked through his videos and then I was like, all right, there's something deeper here that he's doing it in a funny way, but like there's some meaning because of the way that he's doing it. And there's a video of why he's doing it. And he explains, and he's like, there's so much hunger in America and there's so much that we could be doing. When we were hunting and gathering, people ate raw meat. Mm-hmm. They just did. It was all they had to eat. Mm-hmm. And they didn't die. And you're not going to like salmonella and all that stuff. Like your body can naturally react to it and fight through this kind of stuff. And who knows where the experiments go. He's posted for 7 days. He has like 120,000 followers and like people, it's like growing quickly because it's so outrageous.
And it's also gross to watch, but like you can't, it's like a car crash. You're like, you can't look away.
Yeah.
You're like, what is that?
Yeah. And he's funny about it. Like he's really like his captions are ridiculous. And like, they're literally like, they're actually, I think like, this is also what I've learned about social media through doing this is like, the shadow banning thing is real. Like there's like, you say the wrong thing, you get whacked. It's like, it's real. Like this guy, he can't even like post captions anymore. He has to comment the caption because he's like, it's getting.
What a scam.
Yeah, it's wild.
We are living in a filtered world created by elites that want to create robots and groupthink. It's obvious. If you don't believe that now, you're just an idiot, in my opinion, because there's been so much exposure to that. It is right in front of our faces.
Yes.
I mean, look at even like the Israeli conflict and like Palestine right now. Now that there's like video evidence of that stuff, and like I'm not going to talk too much about it because I'm not educated on it, but there are certain things that it's like so in your face. Even taking Trump off ballots.
Yeah.
People are like, there's no way they rigged the election. I don't know if I necessarily believe that, but I wouldn't. There's so much stuff that I'm like, I wouldn't be surprised, you know? There's so many things.
I think that's what we learned through COVID too. Because I
wish I never got that stupid vaccine.
Same.
I wish I never got that vaccine.
I was the biggest. I was like 10 out of 10 team Fauci, bro. Like I was like praise Fauci. Like I was
like, who's this midget on the screen? Who's this little man? Sorry, Dr. Fauci. Canceled.
Yeah.
In my book.
I went through, that's really funny. I went through a phase with COVID because I was scared to death. I was target audience Like number one, I was scared to death that my grandma was still here, and I was scared to death to lose my grandma.
Yeah, that's fair.
My mom, like she smokes cigarettes, like whatever. Love you, mom. But like that was one of the things, the first things that came out, like, totally. Oh, people that smoke cigarettes are like, it's like, I'm freaking out about that. My dad, has heart stuff, and like, I'm just like, I'm worried. So I was literally, I lost my shit. I had a psychotic break and was
really
like, dead ass. That was when I broke. Like I'm talking, and people would have joked about like Kanye mode and like it.
Like you had a Kanye breakdown.
Yeah, and it's like I don't even know if joking about it is the right way to say it, but it's like it's seriously. I know what it's like to send text messages all caps without periods and not be able to break your train of thought. Like your mind, like I've lost my mind. Mm-hmm. Like I know what that's like.
Yeah.
So when I see that, and it's like, no,
that's crazy.
Yeah, and again, like you said about having a different phase health wise informed mm-hmm. you to be able to like you said fat face. Like, oh, I'm glad I have fat face. It's like, well, I'm glad that I went through these.
I guess we could say pudgy face.
Yeah, exactly.
Not fat, but pudgy.
Because you did.
A little extra, cushion for the push.
Yeah. But I like, again, that having that mental breakdown taught me what it's like to be on the other side. Mm-hmm. So now I am a little bit more grateful that I'm able to sit here and come across. I am a little bit more normal now or not even normal. I don't know what the right way to say it. But you learned
from it.
Yeah.
And then it also teaches you too, like you don't know what other people are going through. And that's why like the things that I say and like how I feel, I know it's going to be completely different than somebody that was raised in inner city Baltimore. 100%. It would be weird if we like agreed on everything because we had different upbringings.
Yeah.
And that's okay. And that's the thing is like, why is there always a divide? Like, that's why like my friends and I can talk about politics and talk about these things that are like taboo because I'm open to listening and I want to learn what other people think. You may not change my mind, but at least you have some sort of self-awareness.
Yeah.
So, but I agree. I agree with all of that. And I think with COVID too, like going back to the vaccine, my biggest fear was giving it to other people. The reason I don't think that I should have taken it was because I'm healthy.
Yeah.
I don't have if I have underlying issues, okay, fine. But it should have been like, I know it was my choice to take it, but the amount of pressure that I felt. No, it wasn't.
That's the thing. And that's the thing. Like the only reason I can say this now is because I was that 10 out of 10. Because now I'm on the other side. I'm with you. I don't know. I don't think that I should have. I think that it was manipulated. I think it was fucked up and I think it was wrong.
Yeah.
But you said you had the choice. We didn't really have the choice.
No,
it was whether you want to, do you want to go to the bar?
Do you want to work at this company?
Yes.
What the fuck is that?
Yeah. Yeah.
You're not telling me that's not taking away a human right. You're going to, that is.
Yeah, it is.
Corporate stuff is crazy.
And now we can all finally say it. And like, it's, I've been afraid to even like speak my mind on some of these topics, but, cause it does, there's still people out there. Like I saw a tweet the other day of somebody I was reaching out to that was like, worked at a certain political organization and was tweeting about the vaccine still, and I'm just like,
let me guess which side. Let me take a wild
I'm just
guess.
like, whoa.
Yeah.
But you said something that threw a flag into my head about something my mom shared with me about the way people grow up and how different again, this is why I like having these conversations because you learn where somebody's coming from.
Yeah.
And that's why I do these for the time that I do. People have said that before I started, it was like, oh, just do like 45-minute interviews. Like you can't get deep.
Yeah.
You can't get to the layers of like what makes a person them. But my mom always used to say, she's like, marriage is like you take two different people from two completely different upbringings with two completely different life experiences and you stick them in a house and you say, get along forever. And then you put kids into it. And like I was one of four and one of four. So it's like there's a fucking,
Where do you lay in the four?
I'm the third of four. Okay. Two older sisters, one younger brother.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fun dynamic.
It was a wild dynamic. The other dynamic for me was that my grandma, Shanna Grams, who passed since COVID, and that's what, again, I was freaking out about. And she's the best. She still is. But she lived in an in-law suite with us.
Amazing. Probably fun house.
There's like a breezeway. Yeah. And like, it was a dynamic for sure. But it was a lot of these things when I think back and I talk to people, it's like when you're talking about your brother, it's like, I remember fighting with my brother and like beating, like I'm not saying beating each other up or anything like that.
He's 30 and like I come home and he'll put like a baseball in like his lacrosse stick and throw it at me. I'm like, yo, chill. We are in our 30s and late 20s.
Did he play lacrosse?
Yeah.
In college?
No, he did Army ROTC in college.
Oh, okay.
So he went to UConn, did that, was a commissioned officer, did some government contract work, just got his MBA. Like I said, 3.9.
Nice.
It's so funny. We are the epitome of like He's the oldest, type A, very organized, extremely bright, like on top of his shit. I would say I am, but in like organized chaos. I'm so the youngest child. Like I come into the house, my parents are like, oh God, what's this bitch gonna say next? You know? So we definitely have like those like very old school, like classic roles.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's fun.
It is like funny conversations do naturally happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you can
Always
catch good shit.
Did you see what happened about the girl that was stabbed her boyfriend 108 times?
No.
She took 2 bong rips and stabbed her boyfriend 108 times in 2018. And California let her off because they said she was like under psychosis.
Yeah. They I actually listened to a podcast
so
the other day about his name's David Eagleman. He's a neuroscientist at Stanford. I bring him up every other episode because he's the man. I love his work. But he has a podcast about the brain and what happens in those moments and like what is going. Like they try people, and I forget what the term he uses, but like when you like lose touch with reality and essentially like you weren't in control.
Yeah.
And there's like parts, but like where do you draw the line?
Dude, I listen.
Because that can happen. Like that's the thing. Is like that's great. Well, it still happened. Like somebody died and somebody has to pay the price for that, in my opinion. Like
I agree. The thing that confused me the most is I was like, Mom, if you're watching this, I'm sorry, but I have taken 2 gravity bongs in my life and I fell asleep and I was eating food. You know, it's like, why are you like, how does that happen? You're not, I don't believe that with weed.
I think that there's something, some people.
You're mental.
Who, again, well, that's what a lot of things, even with like the world of psychedelics, which I love and I love learning about too. It's like, if you have a predisposition or if you have like schizophrenia in your family, there's like essentially in your brain, I always wish I was smarter, but when I want to like explain these things, I'm always like,
I can't remember serotonin and dopamine, bro. Don't even get me
like
started.
I know I'm thinking it perfectly. I don't know if I say it perfectly or well at all, but essentially it's like there can be a tick in certain people's brains where it's like that's in the back of your head. That's in the back of your head, like a schizophrenia gene or something like that. That's like you could smoke weed 1,000 times and it's not triggered, and then one time it gets triggered and you're gone and you're snapped and you're like, and like that is one of the most scary illnesses. Interesting too. I'm trying to do like a lot of reading about it because
that's scary. People like that though need to be locked up because they'll kill someone. That's not fair. It's just not fair.
Yes. Yeah.
It's not fair.
Yeah. And I wonder,
like, what the fuck is the family thinking?
Yeah.
Like that's still your son's dead.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
That's the issue. And then this girl's running around town. No problem. What are you teaching the rest of the world? You can just get high, murder someone and it's fine and just say that you're crazy?
Yeah.
Bad example. Shout out to California for sucking yet again. I was out of there real quick.
Wait, you lived in California?
Yes.
Is that where you grew up?
No, Maryland. I'm from Maryland.
Yeah, you said that.
No, but I moved to San Diego. You want to talk about if you don't like your life, get up and move. I was living with my ex-boyfriend in Arlington in like, it was during COVID. I think it was 2021. We broke up. I moved home. And I had always wanted to move somewhere like a little bit different. So I looked at Austin, Texas, Miami, and San Diego. And I had them and I was like, okay, which one am I going to go to? And I was like, San Diego is probably like the most like tame, chill, like more livable, whatever. My brother used to live there, so I would visit him a lot. And I vacuum sealed all my shit, brought it on an airplane. I had only clothes and got off the airplane and I was immediately like, I don't like it here because my bags were falling everywhere, right? Like I have 4 huge suitcases, all my shit's in these bags, and these cops are watching me struggle and just everyone's passing me by and just looking at me. And I was like, I don't like the culture here. Because in New York, they'd be like, get the fuck out of the way, but they'd help you.
Yeah.
They get your shit out of the way. Here you go, bitch. Stupid, you know? That's why I like the East Coast. So
yeah,
it's like a little rough around the edges.
Yeah.
Like that guy earlier.
Yeah, wait,
that
tell
was
that story.
Crazy.
That's
so
this is like the first thing that Darby said to me when like, oh, what's up? We've never met each other in person.
Yeah, not in person.
But it was like, oh, what's up? Good morning. I was like, oh shit, can you come to Trader Joe's with me? I fucked up. And then you're like,
I was like, dude, I just had a moment because I was walking down the street with one of my friends that like lives here, and this homeless guy was like, damn. And I knew that he was talking to us, but I was like ignoring him. And then he said, suck my dick. And I said, shut the fuck up. And I turned around at him. He's like, He's like, mind your fucking business, you ugly ass bitch. And I was like, oh my God, he's going to kill me. Like, it just came out of my mouth. Yeah. I was like, I can't be doing that. That was dumb. That was not street smart of me. But I was like, I hope he learned his lesson.
Yeah. Dude, I was
masculine energy.
Yeah, that's what it'd be like.
I am a man.
It is weird, especially with that kind of situation. I had a similar, the guy wasn't saying it to me, but he was homeless and he was obviously in a reality and state that wasn't the one that we're living in and seeing and operating in right now. And he started chasing after these two girls and I didn't really know what was going on.
So scary.
Yeah. And he was like doing the slow, like stumble jog type thing. And
you got to go in zigzag to trip him up.
Yeah.
Stop. Why don't you run home? Oh wait, you can't.
It's true though.
Oh, bad.
I actually do that when like if somebody like I feel like that, you know, hair on the back of your neck stand up, I'll start walking funny or just like crossing streets and shit.
I have a story to tell you after this.
Yeah,
like that.
But he literally, so he is kind of doing this jog chasing these girls, and he's like, you sent my dick pics everywhere. You sent my dick pic and like these girls are like on their lunch break, corporate America, like still have their tags like from Comcast or whatever. And I didn't realize, again, like I didn't like, not that I would have like stepped in or anything, but I did like turn around and was just like, make sure, hey, like, you guys are all right and whatnot. But it is like bizarre because they were just like, what the like, and what? But it's happened again where I was a bystander and I felt, I'll never forget it. I felt like I should have said something because like this guy, like again, like homeless type guy, just like chirped at this woman who was our age and it was dark. It was dark and like nobody, like I didn't say anything. Like I just wish I would have said, shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? Or like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, but I don't.
It's tough.
Yeah.
Because you don't know now, right? It's the same thing. You don't flick someone off. You don't have road rage. You don't say like, you just don't know. That's why after I did that, I was like, that was stupid. I could have been beat up.
But also, how do you stop them? Because like they also need to stop doing it. Who
cares? I'm like, I look good. Who, me? You say, damn. Okay.
But I do want to ask about, especially with like Instagram DMs.
Yeah.
I imagine you've heard some shit. You've dealt with some shit of like weird.
Should I open them up and read them right now?
Yeah.
Can you grab my phone? It's in my purse. Or I can get up too. I can move. I forgot I'm like not glued here. Perfect. Thank you. So
live. This is.
So it's funny because I will. I just got a comment. Okay, nothing important. I will go into. So basically, if I follow someone back, then I get the DM right away.
Okay.
The other ones I put into like a box. Yeah. I'm like, I'll check them every once in a while, just like LOL. But some are like truly. I'm so concerned. How do I get to it? It's so hidden. I can filter. General and requests. So if I go to, there's like typical ones like, hey, you know, any plans, blah, blah, blah. Like, are you in New York when I'm in different locations, like I tag it, I'll get like random people that will see that I'm there or something. Just
random people like, hey, want to meet up?
Yeah, I had a guy ask me if I wanted to go on his yacht, but we had a mutual friend. So I was like, who is this? There's a few people that will constantly like, if he wanted to, he would, ladies. This man.
Oh shit! You like show the camera.
This is from October 2021. If he wanted to, he would, ladies.
Wow.
There's just random. I mean, like it's also like that's weird. If you're a guy lurking in DMs, like you clearly are an odd person. But then I get some really weird ones where it's like, will you like weird requests?
Yeah, yeah.
Let me see if I can find it.
I've heard some stories.
I put them in a different one. Cash App asked me for my Cash App.
Damn.
A guy actually sent me like $700. I dropped my Venmo. It was a joke. I didn't give him my number. Didn't text him. Didn't send him any photos. Didn't do anything. I just got $700.
What'd you spend it on?
Drinks for the girls. Yeah. I was at the bar. I was like, bitches. Drinks on sugar daddy. And I was like, oh, what's going on there?
It's so wild that and again, this is like a very real thing. Like this is what like anybody who, you know, and that's another thing. It's like
this is the one I was looking for. Hey, I'm looking for someone to kick me in the balls for generous compensation. Please let me know if you're interested.
Dude, people, man, like.
You don't know what's spam and what's not, right? Because if you put anything in writing, you have to know that there could be a screenshot anywhere. That's why if you send photos and this and that, which first of all, I personally would never ever do. I don't even reply to any of these, but it's like you just
a wild request.
It is. But and like, no.
So something.
I have a 9 to 5. I'm doing okay. Like the hell.
But people do. This is like another interesting thing about like this is reality. The reality is that people have kinks and people have weird shit that like turns them on. And I forget who said it to me, but they're like, the most interesting thing in the world is when you realize that like anything that you think or anything that you're interested in, like there's somebody else who likes that.
Yeah.
There's at least one other, if not many, many other people, usually many other people that like that. And there's people out there that like that. Like
it's only guys. Like you don't see girls doing that. Why do you think that is?
Interesting.
You know what I mean? I guess it's because we don't need to. Like we get attention.
Yeah.
We don't really need to give it.
So I was
I'm not going to DM a guy.
I was actually reading about this. It was on Psychology Today, and it was about BDSM and how. Again, sorry, Mom, that you're listening to this, but maybe you could skip this one.
Don't Google what that means.
Yeah. But like the submission. The act of being the submissive in a BDSM type relationship, because I like watched what's that movie, 50 Shades of Grey this year.
Oh yeah.
I was like, whoa, wow, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And but apparently it's like if you think about it from a control perspective, the person who's actually in control is the submissive person because they get to tell you what to do or what is or is not, or all these like again, there's people out there that have rules. And honestly, one of the only examples that I know from like pop culture is what was that movie? Or no, Billions show.
I don't think I've seen that.
Oh, it's like
you asked me any TV show or movie, I have not seen it.
Yeah, Mitchell's here.
I'm useless.
He was shaking his head. He knows what I'm talking about. But like the guy.
Is it good?
It's really good. But there's like so it's like a billionaire who is doing all these, I don't know, sketchy moves. He's a hedge fund, whatever, beast. And the Department of Justice or somebody in the government, whatever organizations are coming after him. And like that guy, that actor, or like the guy in the show, goes to this BDSM type, like one of those underground DC. Yeah, like where it's
DC?
Like, yeah.
I guess they're everywhere.
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't been invited. No one's asked me. No, just
but
kidding. That's wild.
Yeah, but that's like one of the only places that I saw. And it's like, and again, in the show, there's like an agreement between the wife and the husband that like he's going to see another woman who provides this pain for him, who literally like hits him and whips him and shit. And like, again, there is,
That's a no for me. That's a red flag. I would never be able to be like, go for it, sweetie.
But the wild thing that I learned from this article was that it was apparently healthy for your mental health to go
to the gym, guys. Come on, man. Like, let's be honest. Everyone's always like, I want to take these drugs.
You can do push-ups or you can
just go to the gym. It was so funny because even when I was at the gym the other day, when I was there at like 5 o'clock in the morning, there was a few guys there, but they were all on their phones. And I'm like, if people actually did more and like worked out and like got their shit done, like maybe you wouldn't be like standing lurking there. That's another thing we have to talk about, like creepiness of men.
What?
But going back to the BDSM thing, they have that in Baltimore too. I have a acquaintance that was like telling me about it. And I was like, it's not for me. It's just I didn't believe that it was like down the street.
Yeah.
And it's never the hot couple. It's never the 10 out of 10s, I would imagine. Maybe it is. I don't know. Weird world that we live in.
But that's the other thing. Like we were talking about earlier about like other, not this type of stuff, but it's just like, man, there's so much that people just don't talk about. Like these are things. Like we were talking about it even before you got here about like drugs. It's just like, it's like, again, we work together, corporate world. It's like, do we bring up smoking weed? Do we have anything to worry about? Do we?
I do.
This
I don't care.
Yeah, but like that's the thing. It's like,
but only to certain people.
But that's the thing. It's like everybody's doing it. Why can't we just talk about it? And it's also like legal now. And like
that's it. It's legal. There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
If you don't sit at home and just smoke all day, I don't think it's like unhealthy.
Yeah.
That's just me. I do notice it affects my energy though.
Same.
So I try not to. That's why I was trying to do dry jam for weed. 4 days in, I'm like, I was like, I can't sleep. But it really does help me sleep a lot.
Yeah. And that's, it does a lot. I did the same thing at Cracked this week, which I was telling you about my dreams. And that's the other thing. It's like getting into this, another thing I wanted to pick your brain about was like your views on reality, the world, like consciousness, like all of these different things. Like the thing I love about drugs, whether it be coffee or again, you're talking about Adderall, anything like that. And like Adderall, I could only ever do when I'm like studying or getting, like in college and whatnot. But like we were talking about it earlier, like it changes if you approach life all the time from this point of view and you're looking at it like straight up, drugs, it lets you change your angle a little bit of your consciousness and be like, oh shit, I'm self-conscious about this. It's happening when I'm high. Why is that happening? And then like I'm able to take that information and use it back in my sober mind. So it's like
because you're smart. That's one way to use it. That's the way that you should use it. People use it to escape.
Yeah, it's not, but that's the other thing. Is like I've done that too. Like you were asking about college stuff, like the transition. Honestly, why I didn't have a good answer is because I didn't have I got high every single day, all day long. And I sat in my basement and I ordered Ben and Jerry's and I would literally,
when people ask me what my dream and my goal is in life, that's it. What are your aspirations? Be high in my parents' basement ordering Jerry's or Ben and Jerry's. Did I say Tom and Jerry's? God, I'm aging myself.
But dude, like that's all I did. And it was an escape and it was a way to numb. So that's the thing is you can use it for different reasons. And same thing with psychedelics. Like, saying if weed is like even coffee, fasting, you're still like putting your brain into a different consciousness. So you're still changing the angle a little bit. Psychedelics, which I'm way overdue to, have a little hard reset here, but like it lets you take a fucking, why does it scare you? I'm interested.
I don't like to not be in control like that. One time I got too high from smoking. I didn't smoke for 6 years and I would smell weed and literally have a panic attack. Really? Like someone on the street would be smoking and be like, oh my God, am I going to get secondhand high? Like I was freaking out. And then that point in my life, I had anxiety. I had to take Klonopin to get on planes, all types of shit.
What is Klonopin? I know I've heard this and like.
It's like an anxiety med. But I remember I'd be like wheeling my stuff. I'd be like, oh shit, I'm about to go get on my plane. Like I was like Bridesmaids, Misty Iglesias. That was me. I was like this.
That was so good. What does it feel like? What is it like?
It's like having too many glasses of wine. Because like wine to me like relaxes me, which actually I might even pop open the bottle soon. But it's like it relaxes me, but I don't feel out of control.
Yeah.
I don't have anxiety now, which is interesting. I completely got rid of that. I was told I was depressed and anxious, and I think they literally lied to me. I think I was just like not mentally like.
You're just not healthy. It sounded like too.
I think it was all like a factor. Yeah. Like I feel totally different. Like I don't get anxious. I don't get anxious over like a lot of stuff. I mean, I get anxiety sometimes, like normal feelings of like when I'm like presenting or doing a sales pitch where like it's a big deal and like I'm like, oh shit, I really like I can't mess this up or whatever. I'll get a rush of adrenaline, like my face will get red, and I'm like, oh. But I'm fine after that.
Yeah.
But before it was like, you could even ask my college roommates. I had such bad anxiety. I remember we were at the Towson Mall and there was all these people that brought out their cell phones and started filming. And I thought that there was like a fight going on or something. And then I see a cop running and I'm like in survival mode because my biggest fear was like being shot. I don't know why. I was like, I feel like I'm gonna get shot. It was just, I felt like that was my destiny. It was so bizarre. And then it made me think, I was like, did I get shot in like a past life?
Yes. Let's go. Let's
we can get into that stuff, but I'll tell you the story because it's funny. So there's all these cops and my two college roommates, Carly and Kendra that I talked about earlier, are like, oh, like it's fine. Like we'll just walk back to the car. There's pepper spray or like mace. Like it's getting really foggy. There's like a lot. I thought it was a terrorist attack happening. There's some sort of attack happening. Someone's nose is bleeding. There's like, it's like fucking chaos. I imagine all of that.
Yeah.
And you have anxiety. I'm like, so I'm fucking sprinting. And this lady has her baby. She's coming the other, she's a stroller. And she's like, what's going on? I'm like, get the fuck out. It was teenagers that were like just using pepper spray. But I thought that like there was going to be a bomb go off or like a shooting. And I went into survival mode like crazy. My roommates were like, chill the fuck out. I was like, I lost my mind. But I think for the longest time, I like thought that I was shot because I would have dreams that I was shot. And like, I feel like I know what it's like to be shot in the chest and have blood fill up in my mouth because I had reoccurring dreams like that.
Really?
So weird.
It is.
My dreams are weird.
I'm so interested. Yeah.
They're better now.
We talked about that too.
Melatonin, dude. I'm telling you, melatonin really made me like trip out.
Yeah. I grew up on melatonin, which is awful. That's why I fucking cry all the time. It's like, you just shouldn't.
It's not good for you?
It's, like, I don't know. It spikes your estrogen levels, or apparently it's packed with estrogen for guys. That's not a good thing to.
Not good for women either.
Yeah. Yeah. Anybody to just be like overflowing. And also, again, as a kid, like back to like, things I think about now. It's like my mom and dad, like they didn't know this wasn't out there. It's just like, oh, my kid can't sleep, melatonin, bye. Like, good night.
Pop a Benadryl.
Yeah, but like the truth, like as a kid, you shouldn't be, you know what I mean? Like if you're not sleeping, there's a problem. You know what I mean? Like there's something, you know what I mean? Like it's like it doesn't at 13 years old or 10 years old or whatever, like taking a.
I don't even remember taking Advil growing up.
I don't
I feel
anymore.
like my mom was just like, get over it.
I get so off the I'm in like a big like I'm so funny.
Feel
I won't take Advil. I won't take time. Like I was sick all week. I told you I was like I didn't take medicine at all.
I never do.
And like but I'll eat the Ben and Jerry's and I'll eat Chipotle 7 times a week. And
that's why with like the COVID vaccine, I was like I have like external things in my body from like the implants and stuff. I'm like I can't really like be like I would never. I'm like
yeah.
Oops.
But acknowledging, that's the other thing about, we were talking about more seriously earlier about the, people who are hypocrites about certain things. It's like, so am I.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, that's what I like to like, just acknowledge about myself is like, you're, look, you try, but you also fail all the fucking time. And like, that's also
I love failing.
Part of the,
I eat that
same.
up. When I fail, I'm like the fuel in my body.
Yeah. Have you seen Black Panther?
Again, no TVs or movies. I'll never see any.
Oh, okay. Wow.
No, I've never seen it.
I wasn't a big movie guy when I growing up, but I did actually through COVID watch all like the Marvel movies or like most of them. But the guy, like Black Panther, just has like a suit that when he gets hit, it charges up the energy from getting hit and gives him the ability to like blast out and like the superhero way and kill people and shit. And like if he gets hit by a big boulder or rock, whatever, like it gives him just as much energy to come back and fucking do whatever. That's what I think about pain and failure and all those things. It's like give me.
I didn't get fit because I got fit because I was down bad.
Yeah.
But you can continue that path and be a victim, or you can like get up and change it again. That's like the reoccurring theme and all that stuff. It's the same thing with work, right? Sales. Ups and downs. The highs are high and the lows are goddamn low. Like I haven't closed anything this month, and I'm like, I had like a breakdown to Austin, and I was like, I feel like I'm losing my mojo. Like I'm freaking out, and I was listening too much to the corporate, like your metrics, you're this, you're that. I took the weekend, and then I came back on Monday, and I was like, Austin, I'm gonna try to like hit all these metrics, but I know that all that matters is like one, staying true to who I am and how I do things because it's worked. So I'm not going to change that. And also, all that matters is the money that I bring in at the end of the quarter. So yeah, I have nothing closed right now, but like hopefully February is good. But it will be because I'm doing the right things. And it's like, I think that what matters is just like keeping that mindset, even though I'm down bad, just like staying positive because you can bring yourself into a hole,
Yeah. And I would love to talk about that in the sales sense of like, I obviously have strong opinions. We've talked about my strong opinions about different things, but it's like the fact is everybody's different, and the corporate world trains everybody the same, and it takes away that individual sense because you're a corporation. We do things this way, which is like I get it. I do get it.
Yeah.
But the thing is empowering people to be themselves no matter what that self is or how they do things. You might not do things. Again, the corporate sales force or all the other
they get
stuff.
so anxious about me.
But the reason that you're able to do what you do is because you're able to be yourself. You know what I mean? Like,
and now they're trusting that, I think, because like
and it takes time.
I think that I like will play the game. Like they know, and I've said all of this to Austin too. Like I'm very genuine, and I always tell him I never want to be somebody that's like hard to manage, right? And like I trust him to be my manager, and like we have like a good relationship there, but I do like to do things the way that I like to do it because I know that it will work and I need you to trust me. But I also know that until I like prove that, you're going to have questions. Yeah. However, in sales, there is a direct way to gauge your success.
Yeah.
It's right there. It's on the board every single day. I know how I'm doing. You know how I'm doing. If I'm not doing well, let's fix it. If I'm doing okay, focus on the people that aren't doing as well as me. Put your time into them.
That's one. It's funny. It reminds me about back to the MySpace thing about ranking. Like, you know where you're at based off of the end thing. And if the end thing is why you're paying me, and it's also, I'm a big proponent of like, you show me the incentives, I'll show you the, results or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever the saying goes. But like, okay, if your goal is to sell things and that's how you make money, well, then that's what you should care about most. The process stuff, the corporate correctness, it's like, look, I get it. Respect, I understand, but you're not paying me to do that. If I got $1 for everything I put into Salesforce, then like, sure, I'd be probably a little bit better about it. So do that. It's like,
it's just work to me as a way to pay my bills and make money. That's it.
Yeah.
And I said this to you on the walk this morning. Like, I will never put the time and energy into someone else's company that I will with something that's my own. Yeah. And I don't think that that's a bad thing. I'm still going to get the job done. I'm still going to show respect to all my coworkers. I'm still going to represent the company well. But how can you ask that of me? That's kind of silly.
Yeah.
Like, and let's be honest.
I actually, like, there's part of me that wishes that I could adapt better. There's part of me, not that I could, but I do have respect for people that play the game. And do it well and do the whole everything you need to do to climb the ladder, and then you're like, again, like, you climb the ladder and it works, and like there's a reason that it works, and you play the political game and you do the right things and you do the trainings and all that, and it works. I can't be like that. Like, I'm sorry, like, again, like you, like,
I love to be a rebel.
I'm gonna do it,
because
like,
they still love me.
But I wish, and that's the other, like, I don't know. Again, strong opinions, and also one of the annoying things that I think, but it's like, I haven't been able to figure out another way to think about it. If we approach a problem, obviously I'm going to think that my way is the best way. If I thought there was another better way, I would do that way.
I agree with that.
So it's like, I don't know. I get very stubborn about, like, again, and then once I'm wrong, I'm like, oh, I'm wrong. Well, now thanks for letting me know. But like, I got to try my way first.
I think what's really important is having somebody on the other side, especially if we're talking about like corporate world. Like, I listened, like, I thought what I was doing was right in this one scenario. And I was like, again, like, let me trust my gut, blah, blah, blah. Austin was like, no, try it this way. And it didn't work out. And he came back to me and was like, I feel really bad. I trust you. And I was like, that's a good manager.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like his advice was terrible. Sometimes things work, sometimes they don't. But like, him being receptive and like open to like my ideas, even though I'm clearly like not by the book at all. I'm kind of like very scrappy with stuff. He's like, all right, you have this organized chaos, like, do it how you'd like. Like, for instance, we're supposed to upload prospects into Groove, do our own prospecting to help out also. And one week, I booked 3 meetings, which is like pretty high for a week because we only do, I think, like an hour and a half of prospecting. So that's a pretty good turnaround. Yeah. And he was like, I know you have a method, Darby, right? And I went off mute in front of the team and I was like, absolutely not. This is all organized chaos. Because I just like picked 3 people. They ended up booking. Sometimes it's just.
Yeah, it just does.
Sometimes you get some luck. Yeah. It's the reality of it, you know?
But there's also, I think, another, what I think is the most important thing in sales and in life is just authenticity sells.
Being which like no one has anymore. So.
Yeah, and that's what makes like that's the, I mean, salespeople fascinate me. Being in sales, and it feels so weird. I don't know.
There's so many different types of salespeople.
Yeah. But this is like, honestly, what all of us are doing here. It is that sales is in everything. I'm essentially creating a product here that people that are listening right now are consuming. They're not like, I'm not making money off of it, but like, yeah.
Yes.
Stay tuned.
Manifesting.
Yeah, but. I don't know. Selling's everything. You're selling yourself at all times. Dating is selling. And that's another thing I want to get to.
Oh, God. Let's talk about that.
Yeah. You mentioned the ex-boyfriend. You mentioned we've had a lot of different conversations about. And what I just said about like thinking my way is the best way, obviously I'm going to do it. That's why I'm not there yet as a partner or haven't been yet, you know?
Shout out to you for being self-aware, though, to not get into a relationship when you're like, I have some things.
Yeah, and it's just fix. like that's the thing. Is like, I know like you can't do that in a partnership. You got to chill the fuck out, and you got to say like, hey, even if I think the other way's not the best way, you still got to, you got to. But like, I struggle.
Yeah, I think my issue is like after like 2 years, if like I don't think we're gonna get married, like I'm out, and so that's what I did with my 2 relationships that are my past 2 relationships. I was like, But it's because going back to like the way that I grew up, I'm very lucky where like I don't have daddy issues. Like had, and I still have a very good relationship with my dad and my brother. And like I have like standards of how I want to be treated. And I just, after like a few times of sitting down and having a conversation, being like, hey, let's fix this. Now, by all means, I mean, I have my own issues too, right? It's like takes 2 to tango. But I was just like, I'm kind of like, gonna move on sort of thing. But I'm not ready to date yet.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
Yeah.
I have no desire to.
Tell me about that, because I've laughed when you like talk about either are you on Hinge or any of the dating apps?
And I don't think I've even replied to one person. Yeah. I have Bumble and Raya. Raya met a few people. I met some Ravens players, which was cool, but I didn't go on any dates. I like FaceTime them, text them, and was like, okay, cool. Good to know that you're interested. Now I don't really care. That's so messed up.
Okay, so you do have your own issues.
I do have my own issues. I think that it was because I was testing the waters of single life.
Wait, why is that? Because we didn't talk about the other thing that you're doing.
What?
That you're not quite allowed to fully talk about yet.
Oh, the reality TV show. Yeah. I can't say the name. Or I shouldn't say the name.
But you said the same thing, and you said, there's a common thread that I just noticed there. You said, oh, now that you're interested, now I know that you'd want me to be on the show. Now I'm I'm good. So what is it about, and the same thing with guys, what is it about the attention?
It's the chase. That's what it is. It's like, okay, I'm satisfied, moving on, which is bad. But I'm not like that with like my personal relationships. I think the reason that those 2 things have that theme is because, one, newly single, I didn't really know what it was like, right? Where I'm like, what? You need to be aware from a scale from 1 to 10, like what am I working with? Who's going to be interested in me? Like who's out there, whatever. I kind of had to get like a pulse check on like, what are the options potentially, which I'll never meet somebody off a dating app. I did it when I was younger. I don't want to do it again because I can't look at somebody and know if I'm interested or not. There's decent looking guys, but like, if I can't vibe with you, it's the same thing with like a really hot girl that you can't talk to.
You can't say anything. And that's why we do these in person. You literally can't tell things without feeling somebody's energy.
100%.
Being in their presence.
Exactly.
And you can get lucky. Numbers game, yes. Right. Like I know I have a really good friend.
It works.
Yeah. And like but they just so happen to like, you play the numbers game. If you put 1 million people on this app, yes, 1,000 are going to meet their husband or wife because they just so happen to like
be out and dating and all of that. Yeah, I don't know. It's not for me yet, but also I went from I was in a relationship when I was 23 to 25, then 25 to 28.
Yeah.
So I haven't really chilled.
And that's funny.
I need to chill out. I like being with myself.
Yeah. And,
I really do like it.
And honestly, like this, I think you had an interesting phase that is similar to mine of like I had a big transition where I started to like myself. I started to be confident.
Yeah, I was like, wait, I don't hate myself.
Yeah, it's like, wait a second. So like I had this like this coming out. Like I literally, I was thinking about it the other day. I was walking around the city and I was in a good mood. I was just fucking chilling. I was like, yeah.
Main character energy.
Like, I felt fucking good. And I felt the difference of what it's like when you're not worried about money, when you're not worried about things, when you're not worried about when you're free of anxiety, what it feels like to walk with your chest a little bit higher, feel light, you're bouncing on your feet, like, feeling that. It sounds like you were dating and now you're feeling this, you're feeling light now. You're kind of a different person than you were at 25.
Totally.
In that sense. So it's like, you've never had the chance to be this Darby and be single.
I do think too, like, and I'm a big energy person. I'm not an astrology star girl, maybe, but like you attract what you're giving off. So like the vibes and all that stuff. And I am it's not that I'm so confident, but I'm so with like content and like happy with how I am. I know I could do better in a lot of different ways, but I think it's an age thing. Cause I have friends that are 25, 26 that are like, talking to my friend Fran and I, we were out last weekend, and my friend Mur, I think she's 26, maybe 25. She always makes fun of me for being old. So she's 2 or 3 years younger than me. She's like, I love that you guys just don't care about certain things. And I'm like, girl, we just been there.
Yeah.
It's like some things you just don't need to worry about. So I think age has really helped too, just like getting to this point where I'm like, okay, I'm established. Like I know who I am. I'm in my flow. And I like it. And if I don't like it, I'm going to change it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. I do better single probably because I worry about me. I get too involved in who I'm dating and like what they do. Like, it doesn't worry me, but like it's kind of like caring about someone else, you know?
Yeah.
But my mind starts to go a little bit more negative because I only dated like cheaters in the past. But my last one was not. He was very nice.
Yeah.
Great guy. But I felt some of that coming up. And even though he wasn't doing anything, I still was bringing myself back down. Now I'm like, I get high. I go to sleep. We ain't worried. Yeah. And I kind of like that. But that's not a him problem. That's a me problem that I need to fix, which is why I'm enjoying being single.
Yeah, yeah. And having the time and space, because that's something that I haven't obviously been able to crack the code yet and figure it out.
Life's a journey.
I'm interested. I'm studying. I'm trying. I fucking ask. Like, you know. But the thing is like in a relationship, your souls are combined. Like in my opinion, you're in this union of us. It's us. Like I'm a very like, when I get married, it's us against the world. Like if anybody comes at you, I'll fucking kill them. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like that partnership. Like that level of like, we're together. This is, you hurt me. Like, you know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. So you're so enmeshed in each other's hearts and lives and souls, but at the same time, you need to be your individual person. That's what I think so many people, including myself, struggle with. Same. I struggle with that same thing. I was literally like, I feel, I had an interesting, and shout out all my ex-girlfriends, but I had gang. There's not that many. There's like two. Yeah. Great. That's why I held up too. Yeah. But I had an interesting dating situation. Met a girl during COVID. This was right after my kind of like transformation and excitement. Felt good about myself. She was awesome. Very, very sweet girl. But it was like, we met Labor Day weekend of COVID. So it was like summer 2020. Yeah. So like the summer COVID, when you like everyone was going out again, it was like, oh, it's kind of back to normal. And then the fall, when Thanksgiving shit came up, it was like, oh, you're locked back in. Until that stupid midget came on the screen again. I was like, yeah. Back inside. Too much fun. Yeah. Get back in. So we couldn't, like, it was either we lived together or we didn't date, and we had just met. And she moved in, and I was actually living at my parents' beach house that they have a rental property, and nobody was there in the fall. So like they were kind enough to let me figure my life out there during COVID when I this is where? This is in Seattle, New Jersey. Oh, I'm hip. Were you Bar A? Is that close to that? That might be more North Jersey. That's Belmar. Yeah. I've actually never been there, but so that's fun. But so I had that whole mental breakdown during COVID. Found myself down living by myself. Ended up going through the summer there because nobody was renting the house or anything like that. And what happened with the dating thing, it was like, all right, like we dated for like a month, and then it was like, shit, we have to like move in together. Like she moved in down the beach. So like here I am, and she was a couple years older than me. And that for me, like, how many years? 3. So I was 25, she was 28. So there is a big difference. We could talk about this because both my exes were different ages. Wait, was one younger, one older? One was 3 years younger, the other was 11 years older. Okay, yeah, see. Crazy. I had 3 years older, 3 years younger. And so different. My family's like, can you just find someone your age for real? I'm like, I don't know. I don't discriminate, you know? But it is different. Catch a vibe. It's a lot different. It is. Age matters. Yeah, but the one thing that like and again, I'm not emotionally, and look, I try, I'm fucking trying. But like there's a lot of things where it's like you just gotta learn through doing wrong. Yeah. And like that I felt this level, it's like I want to be so close, but I was so claustrophobic at the same time. And it's like you're doing... It's a weird time to date too. You're like too close to somebody during COVID. As humans, going back again to our primal times, that's not normal. Why am I living in 700 square feet with someone? Kill me. Yeah. I don't care if it's Jesus in the room. Like, I shouldn't be like, that's too close. Yeah. For me. I would be okay with like always having my own apartment. But shout out Steve, who cuts my hair. He's the man. I fucking love him. Wait, is he Greek? No, I'm thinking of someone else who has a Greek barber. Never mind. Never mind. Just 1 in a million. Steve the Greek. But he said that he's married, and his wife and him have been married for 20 years or something like that, and they don't live together. And they like that's. Dude, where do kids live though? I feel like it's good to have like a hideaway or like a spot, but like they call it like the third place, like where else you go. But like that's the thing is like where
Whatever works for you.
I don't know. I don't know how to do it. I don't know how. Not yet, but like I'll figure it out. I'll
Dude, I'm 28. My eggs are crusting. Like I always say this. Like people are like, when are you gonna get married and have kids? And I'm like, wait, I'm 22. And I was like, wait, I'm actually old. Like I should probably get there, but I don't even think about that stuff.
So shout out. Speaking of this, I just have to say this because one of my best friends named Grady Craig, he produces films out in Hollywood for like
cool
Netflix, Hulu, all these different, But he, what's the movie called? We went to the premiere. Hatched, I think it's called.
Okay.
Hatched. I might be getting this name
It's
wrong.
a new one.
But yeah, it's about literally somebody. I think she's like 33 or something like that, or 38, and she like freezes her eggs.
My friend, I think, is gonna do that. She's turning 33.
And does that whole thing. And we got to see a premiere. He came and he does this in our like hometown. It's like the coolest thing ever. And he like shows a movie that's either not out yet or one that he's worked on. And I think it's
Hatched. I like that.
Yeah.
It's like the eggs and everything.
Yeah.
I like
but
that.
But it was wild. And I said to him, I was like, and it's not even out yet, but I was like, I think this movie's going to do really well. Not only because like
relatable.
Yeah, but it's like, it's really, again, current, like back to what we were talking about earlier with like the women's empowerment and like, oh, like I don't need no man's, like just free my, like.
I need a man's.
Yeah.
I never said that. Yeah. I need a man's. Come fix my toilet. Like, I'm not trying to do that shit.
Yeah, you're killing me. This audio is going to be so fucked up from just us laughing and falling out.
I know. But that's funny that you say that because my friend she's 32 turning 33, she's like, I think I'm going to freeze my eggs. And like, personally, like, I never will. I know my eggs are ready. And I just feel like, it's going to sound crazy, but like, I just feel so in tune with my body. Like I went off birth control. Like I just feel good and like staying in shape, I think does so much. And like getting off the estrogen is good. So I'm probably not going to ever freeze my eggs or put my body through that. And I'm just going to keep it as like #God's plan. If like I'm not supposed to have kids, I'm not going to have kids.
I actually kind of agree.
But I know that I can just feel it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's kind of weird.
It's an intuitive level of thinking that people do have access to, and you're right. Like you're right. And I think that thinking is, people don't realize how much the power of thought and belief is too. Mm-hmm. It's like if you think, like say, I don't know, you have, again, the fears. This is also what I get into about the media and like what the job of the media is again, to instill fear. Well, if you think these fearful things are going to happen, well, then they will come up in your reality. And whether it's conscious, subconscious, whatever, like if you're constantly living in fear, like when I always talk about this, but I tripped on LSD, and after that, it was
scary.
Like people, and that's the thing. That's everybody's reactions. I say like it saved my life. Like
well, that's good.
Oh yeah, it was crazy overnight. But like I was in a state for the next year. Every single day was a good day. I was as light as can be. I was flowing.
You got any here?
I was flowing. I wish. I was just flowing with the world and letting things develop as they. I was working at a beer distributor, making $12 an hour cash, like post COVID, having the time of my life.
That's why money doesn't make you happy.
Yeah,
your mind makes you happy.
And and again, it was like all about like we think about this. Like don't drink. Like now I'm in a wave like don't drink alcohol. Like taking dry January and like it's good or bad. But the reason is like when I was in that state, I would go get beers with my brother. We'd walk across. We lived together, and we would walk across this like golf course, and there was like. At the golf course, there was a bar. And it was one of those where it's like, you could get drunk and full for like $25. So we'd do that. On like,
I love that stuff.
They're the best.
I'm a buffet stan.
But we would do it. But like, when you're in that mode, when you're light and everything's cool and you're flowing with life, like drinking doesn't negatively affect you. When I'm down in the dumps, that's why.
I used to be a fighter. Not like a fighter, but like an angry drunk.
Really?
So I know exactly what that's
You've
like. Now I
fights?
drink and I chill.
Have you gotten in fights?
Yeah, one. With my roommate, Carly.
Oh, sorry, Carly.
Over eggplant rollatini. I was down bad.
Do you want to
It's a whole long story. I was drunk. I was day drinking. I remember walking back from Green Turtle Towson. My friend was visiting. And I remember having 3 cigarettes in my mouth and she's lighting all of them. We were walking. It was like one of those. And I get back to the house and I was like, are we going to why are you guys eating the eggplant rollatini? I thought we were going to sit down as a family and eat it. And Carly was sober. She just came back from her internship. And I was like, oh, didn't know you guys were so fucking fat. Like stuff like that. So she called me the C word.
Oh.
I lost my mind. And that was that. she's still my best friend. And so now I drop it in the group chat. She's like, what do you guys like? What type of food should we have? I'm like, just not the eggplant.
Please no. Please no.
But yeah, I mean, I definitely think that one, those are fighting words. Carly, you deserve that. And I will stick to that. But I think that with drinking, yeah, it's a depressant. It's going to heighten that stuff. I wasn't secure. I wasn't happy at that point. So me drinking was an escapism.
Yeah.
Now I like it. I just chill and I vibe out and I'm never mad.
Yeah.
I'm always unbothered.
Yeah. I was actually thinking about it last night. One of my favorite times to go on walks, especially like, well, not getting drunk and then going on a walk, but Friday and Saturday nights in the city. Again, I've been doing this. Like we do this on Saturdays, so I don't like to go out Friday, and also honestly can't afford to fucking do anything besides this. But which I love. I kind of do that on purpose.
Smart.
I love walking in the city on Friday and Saturday nights, and I'll do it like last night. It was like 12. It was midnight, and I'm walking around, and there's like people fucking wasted. And I love seeing it. Like I've also worked at bars. I've worked in music festival industry. So I've been sober and seen a lot of people drunk.
I hate that. Like for me, I can't be in settings with drunk people when I'm sober.
Yeah. I mean, it's
even exposed to it more.
Yeah, and I was getting paid for it, so it's like you have the tolerance, and it's also like the observation. But like it. Again, we were talking about drugs, like the drug of alcohol. I was thinking about it last night because there was like 7 guys. They looked like maybe a couple years younger than me, and they're buoying it up. They were like loud as shit. They couldn't. And I saw like that was me and my boys before COVID. Like we talk about it all the time. Like we miss being those like ragtag. You know, we don't get to do it anymore.
Yeah.
But like they so clearly lost. You lose a sense, like when you're drunk, you lose this sense of all of your surroundings. You know what I mean? You're drunk and you're laughing and you're joking. And you're not like thinking about the buildings. You're not like thinking about the people. Like they were they were just laughing. They weren't saying anything inappropriate. Like, but it's just nobody else was around their group of 7 in their heads, you know? And it's like, it's an interesting, because I've been doing dry January, which we are going to break here coming up in very shortly. I don't know. I like to think about it that,
Yay.
Like how different it is to just be in that state. Cause like I've spent so much of my life in that kind of environment.
Drunk?
Wasted.
Yeah.
Like
binge drinking is a real thing.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Especially in the States. Like, why does everyone come over from Europe and they're like, you guys look like assholes? And I'm like, this is a common theme.
Yeah. I mean, I wonder, and again, I think it does have some like, I don't want to say mental health type, you know, but people are trying to deal with shit and it's, you get to turn it off. Like when I was doing that last night, I was like, damn, like I can't, like dead ass, I'm not in a point in my life where I can go drop $100 in the bar each night. I can't. I'm not going to. I don't want to.
What a waste of money anyways then.
But damn, like, yeah, but I was thinking, I was like, damn, after like a long week of work, that sounds dope. You know what I mean? Like.
You know, my guilty pleasure is that DoorDash. I love staying in. That to me is an investment in myself.
You and me both. I have been a member on every single.
Same.
Shout out Uber. My Uber One is like the free trial is coming to an end.
They get me. I try to do in December. No Uber Eats and no, what's the other one? Not DoorDash. Uber Eats and GoPuff.
Oh, yeah.
So I deleted them because I was like, Darby, I was spending a lot of money on it. And also I was like, we are never going to hit our fitness goals if we just do this all the time. So I deleted it and I got drunk and I downloaded and made a DoorDash account. Like I fucking played myself. I was like, she's smart though. I woke up, I was like, what did we say? No food delivery, but I've been on the DoorDash a lot. I need to stop doing that.
It's my biggest expense by far.
Really?
It's not even close. Like
you got to meal prep. I'm a meal prepper.
Yo, I need to learn.
Sunday.
Well, I can't cook anything.
Sunday.
I know. I heard you guys talk. Yeah, I know.
I believe in you. Dude, the easiest meal that you don't have to be good at cooking at, rice. You can get microwavable rice.
Yeah.
You can boil the rice, whatever, probably microwave. Let's take it
Step back.
as low as we can.
Baby step here.
And then throw some ground turkey on the stove. And you've got high protein, you got good fuel, put some broccoli and you're done.
Yeah.
That's it. Put some hot sauce on it.
Yeah.
It's good.
I'm a hot sauce king. It's funny.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing. It's like another thing my mom always used to joke when I was, because I'm like hovering on like 190 right now and I'm 5'8".
So what's like normal? Because I don't know anything with weight.
I mean, like healthy for me, or like healthy, like when I've been in good shape is like 175, 180.
Okay.
Just for me, my body type, my leg, got big legs, like just, play the cross, like that's for me. But there was one point I was at 227.
Holy shit.
And I was fat. Like I was legitimately fat. And my mom would always say,
what year was this? When was this? Like what age?
COVID 2020. Like literally I started running and then I had this big, I think I lost, at one point I lost 75 pounds So I was like,
crazy.
yeah, I was like 155.
How'd you do that?
Through losing my mind and fucking picking back up the pieces, honestly. Like it sounds, but like I had to gather myself piece by piece. And I did that by walking during COVID. And I just kept walking, and then I would do 10 push-ups. 2 birds, 1 stone. Yeah. I would fucking call my grandma. I'd call my mom. I'd call my boy Beeve. I'd call my friends. Like I would.
Why didn't you call me? I called everyone else. I'm just kidding. But that's so interesting. Yeah.
And
that's a lot to lose.
And honestly, like I always joke too, like part of the thing was my mom was always like, when I was fat, she's like, you wonder why you're fat. And I was like, no, I don't wonder why I'm fat. I know exactly why I'm fat. So I went to Chipotle and I got Chick-fil-A on the way home from Chipotle. And then do
you think you had a binge eating problem?
Yes, I do. I definitely, and I still do. I still have an unbalanced, again, I do a lot of fasting, which is good, but then, you know, there's healthy ways to do it. And sometimes I dip into the unhealthy ways to do it. Yeah. You know,
it's tough.
But again, it's like all this stuff. I try to be open about it here so that other people who like, you know, can relate do. And it's also like, I know the problems, you know, it's like, I'm not unaware of the,
most of us do. And I don't think like people really want to like acknowledge it sometimes. Like I know I had a binge eating problems because all my friends would be like, why are there Funyuns all over the floor? Yeah. You know, and like things like that. But like there's sometimes like I'll tap into it. That's why Monday through Friday I stay super disciplined because I don't get any cravings during the week because I low-key binge on the weekends.
And you've trained yourself, it sounds like, in the week to not want those cravings.
Well, I don't want them because I know I have to work out tomorrow and I don't want to feel like a fat piece of shit. Yeah. And like that's just the reality of it. But like yesterday after Fowler and I, we got dinner, spent, you know, $100 each. I came back and she, you know, we smoked and I'm on the couch and she's like, I have goldfish and Rolos. I'm like, oh, my 2 favorites. So I take the goldfish and I put a Rolo there and I put a goldfish.
Shut up.
I was like, this is crazy good.
Wait, a Rolo is the caramel thing?
Yeah, dude.
And a goldfish?
Little sandwich.
Darby.
It was crazy.
Darby.
It was good. Salty, sweet. But the shame I felt. And she took the bag and she was like, you're going to get a stomachache. I was like, don't look at me.
Yo, that's like, really funny.
Okay, I'm going back into my binging self. Yeah. There are times when I'm like, this is unnecessary.
But but shout out my boy Nettie. He we talk a lot after, especially after like my therapy sessions and shit. I'll call him, we'll deep dive on stuff. And he said it like his is like smoking cigars. He's like, everybody needs their vice. Everybody needs their something. You gotta have something. And honestly, it is weird. This is the first dry January that I haven't lost weight because of I've kind of replaced it with wild, but eating in a sense. And then also seltzers. I have this fucking mark on my nose. I've had almost 36 seltzers, canned seltzers this week. And it like literally I have a scratch on my nose from the fucking tap.
That's wild.
And I'm like,
yeah, sometimes you need your fix.
Yeah.
Like I was a big Taco Bell stand for a really long time.
Yeah.
But like I like to eat, but I think that now because I was able to kind of train myself, I used to feel happiness from eating. Now I don't. Now I eat and I'm like, yeah, it's good, but like like my ex would take me to these like really nice dinners, like lobster tail, this, va va voom. It was nice. It was good. Thanks, Kyle. But like food doesn't give me the fix that like it used to because I found that through like something else which was working out. But everyone has their fix though, you know, for sure.
And everybody just wants to feel something too. And you're feeling something through working out and through a healthy way. And
but it used to be food.
Yeah.
Which clearly was directly correlated to all that stuff. But don't get me wrong, there are times when like I eat a McDonald's apple pie and I'm like, this is good. Which I just discovered. The apple pie from McDonald's is like bussin'. You have to try it. It's crazy. That's funny. It's a new thing for me.
Well, sweet. Let's take another time out. Let's grab that bottle of wine and let's rock.
People Talking Sitting Down podcast, episode 16. Coffee ad, take 1.
What's good, everybody? Guys, thank you so much for checking out this episode. This episode and now all of our episodes are going to be sponsored by Drip Coffee. So we partnered with Drip Coffee, local South Philly coffee company. We had Blaze Connor, the co-founder, on last episode. But for this episode with Darby Sinunu, thank you so much to Darby for coming in. Had a great conversation, hilarious. We're probably not at the end of it yet, but it gets a little wild. So thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for supporting us here at the podcast. There's a link in the description for this unbelievable coffee. and grab a bag, grab a cup, and stay positive. Kind of corny, but love it. All right. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Max. All right. Well, Darby, thank you for coming. And
thanks for having me.
Thank you for bringing a glass of wine. Cheers.
I mean, not only a glass.
Yes. Yeah.
Two bottles.
Sorry, that's what I mean. Darby, hooking it up. So Breaking Dry January. Thank you.
Yep. I'm that friend that's going to be like, drink it. Yeah. No, my friends are doing, I was telling you, my friends are doing 75 hard. I'm all for it. Like you want to do, I personally, it's not that I'm like, I don't need to, I don't want to.
Yeah.
And so I'm not going to do it. But so my friends that do, they've been so good. We went to brunch.
Can you explain what 75 hard is? For
yeah. So 75 hard, I actually don't even know if this is accurate, but I know they're not drinking for 75 days. There's certain like rules to it or certain like guidelines for 2 workouts a day. The second workout can be like a long walk, something like light. I don't know if there's dietary restrictions or what else they've done, but I know those are the 2 things, like workout, don't drink. And I told them, I was like, good for you guys. And they've really stuck to it. I mean, we were at the Ravens tailgate and they were sober. And I was like, you guys are super women. So, but of course they were at brunch and like one of the owners brought over shots. And so like, they were like, you and Fran get to double down. I'm like, okay, you guys are supporting me here.
Fine.
Fine.
75 soft.
I know. Yeah. But I didn't drink for 4 months post breakup to like jumpstart my fitness stuff. Not recently. This was another one during COVID also. And I was like going to the gym and all that stuff. And it was great. It was so good for my mental. Like, I think I was at that point where I was drinking and like escaping and all that stuff. And I wanted to go through and heal and feel everything, as like dumb as that sounds. But I wanted to like process it all like raw and just take it. Because I know if I drink, I'm like, am I going to text him? Am I going to unblock him? Am I going to cry? Blah, blah, blah. So I wanted to keep it as authentic as possible. And it worked for me. So I don't know. I think that they're mainly doing it for fitness reasons. But emotionally, they've had so much mental clarity. So much mental clarity. One of them just FaceTimed me this morning and we were talking about like some friends that will like want to, like that are party friends. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can tell who's really your friend if you're not drinking with them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, duh. But I'm like, again, it's the age difference. I like know who my party friends are and I know who like.
And we need party friends. It's not a bad thing either.
I love my party friends. Yeah. But like, I know that they're my party friends, you know? So, and I think like they're going through that right now. But they were like, just wait until I'm snatched in March. And I was like, do you? So I'm actually going to stop in Baltimore, hang out with them on my way back, I think.
Nice.
So,
and it's not a bad thing. It's such a good point. You do find out who your real friends are in those moments where it's like,
you put them into categories.
Yeah. And it's like, if you don't want to go out or you don't want to hang out with them when you are sober, that's what I like about it. I've done Dry January for like 5-6 years now. This is the first time we've ever drank doing this.
Really?
Had any alcohol, which is like, I feel very, and I'm also going to rip this bong in a second here too. Ooh. I don't know if, shout out Mitchell. Enjoyed it with me. I'm very, very self-conscious, and I'm just going to say this so that I get it out before getting high. But I'm very self-conscious about it being a mental health podcast, about talking, like about drinking or smoking or talking about these things. And my internal battle is like, well, people do this. You know what I mean? Yeah. This is a big part of our culture is drinking. Like, it just is. America, beer, sports, rings, it is what it is. But I feel like it'd be a bad, you know what I mean? From a branding perspective, I feel, I don't think
so. I think that it's good to get to a point when you can drink socially and that's positive. Just because you're mental, I think like that's a balance and you have to train yourself to get there.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a bad thing.
Yeah.
Do whatever you want.
Yeah. And that's
wrong audience then.
That's the weird thing. And that's why I do want to get away from the mental health term. I've been saying like, I want to like, and again, this is with support of all the research I'm doing is like, these aren't a lot of these things that we call mental health. I don't think it's the right term. I think we're struggling with being human. I think we're not supposed to be on our phones. We're not supposed to be doing all these unnatural things. We're not supposed to be living in the fucking sky. Like this isn't.
I do like the view though.
I love it. I fucking love it. And I need it. We talked about like, I think it detaches me from reality just enough.
Look at all those peasants down there.
Yeah, just enough, the ants.
Like, I feel like a queen.
Yeah. And then you realize that like, oh shit, I'm one of those guys.
And then you see how far this is and you're like, that's why when you worry about things that are work, oh my gosh, this person, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
It's not that serious.
I send you the view of like in the morning when I wake up and I go out here like when it's like 6 a.m. I'm like, It's like you're looking at the Lion King. You know what I mean? It's like the sun's coming out and I'm just like, this is it.
Yeah.
And then I sit there until 2 p.m. You know, and I go for my first walk of the day, which is like 15 minutes. And I'm like, damn it.
I feel like an animal in the zoo sometimes where I'm like caged.
Yo.
Even though I will never go camping. I will only go glamping. But sometimes I'm like, wait, I have lived, especially with remote work. I do like remote work for so many reasons. But I'm like, if I were to like take my lifespan, especially like my adult life, like after 21, how many hours have I been in my home that's correlated to work or in an office? Way too much. That's why I like to like travel on the weekends, like get out. I'll even go visit my parents if I have nothing to do. I just don't want to stay in. Or if I stay in, that is a total social battery recharge because I'm a huge extrovert. But you know, talking all day on Zoom is draining.
Yeah.
And sometimes I just need to like go on Do Not Disturb and just like vibe by myself and watch my South Park or my Hell's Kitchen.
I was gonna say, what is your come down type, you know, activity? Like if you're chilling by yourself and you're being by yourself, which again, I think we didn't tie it in.
Dude, I lost my TV remote the other day. I've had Hell's Kitchen on for like a fucking week. I had to buy a new one.
I've never seen that.
Well,
is that Gordon Ramsay?
Come to my place. Can't change it. Yeah, Gordon Ramsay. I can't change it. So I have to like order a new remote. And I think it's when I ordered that McDonald's last week when I was like binging. I think I was making a joke. I was like, I think I ate the remote. Maybe. But no, I think it fell into my bag, like the McDonald's bag. And I think I threw it out. So I have to get a new one.
Damn.
But I like to do art. I like to like
Really?
do arts, like all kinds of stuff. Some are huge fails.
Do you paint or draw? What's the?
I do like more like, I like textured stuff. Like I made this. Did you see that I made?
Remember when I like one of your Instagram stories? I just replied like your aesthetic or your like you have a certain.
Yeah. I
don't know what to call it. There's a theme between all the random shit you post. It's just like you literally took a picture of the staircase and it was sick, and I was like I'm a fan of that, and I've seen
just
like,
random art.
Yeah, it's like it's again
things that massage my eyes. You know,
it's a really good way to put it.
Yeah, just like things that I like. I took a picture downstairs of your lobby. I was like, look at how like pretty this is. I was like, I love this. I didn't post it yet, but I was like, it just looks good.
Wait, that's so funny. Yeah, isn't that nice?
It is nice. It's sleek. I was like, I really like this. But yeah, I've done some art and stuff, but especially like home decor I've been really into. Again, tapping into things that are the creative side. Because I can't get that selling policy tracking. I do like it. I do like work though.
I was going to say, we didn't really dive too deep. And I don't know if I'm going to release this in like the same thing or different things, but what do you like what you do? What do you like about it? I think you do have a good attitude. Like
I'm so fortunate. I feel like
trying to soak that in.
I know, and like my first job out of school, I was talking about the VA loan place that I was at. It was such a good first job, even though I was so miserable. I'm like, anything's better than this, and like the grass isn't always greener. But I'm like, there are people that we walk past that are sleeping on the street. Again, being dramatic about like your mindset and stuff. But like, I'm so fortunate where like I can pay my bills. Like I live alone. Like I make good money. Like I'm happy. Am I making, millions? No, but enough.
Not yet.
I can travel. I can get my Botox. I can do blah, blah, blah. And I like work because I think I don't take it that seriously. To me, it's like, I try to like make it as fun as possible. Like when I was talking to a lawyer, I like made a joke and he didn't even smile and I was pissing laughing. I was like, yeah, we got to make you look good. And he was like, so what we're going to do for the demo. And I was like, oh, this guy he's not happy.
Yeah.
But I'm like, whatever. I troll people when I sell, not in a negative way, but I try to like have fun with it.
Yeah.
It's just not that serious. And I think people like, they don't get the view. They don't get to look at things from the outside looking in. And I'm like, there are so many other things in the world that are so much more important. Why are we taking this so seriously?
Yeah.
You can still be successful and have that attitude though. I feel like that's why I do so well in sales, honestly. And like, I'm not like crushing it, but I got Rookie of the Year. And I was like, and it was funny because one of my coworkers on the team, he was like, wow, Rookie of the Year, AE with the least amount of desk time. Because he'll call me and I'm like, Zara. He's like, it's 11:30. What are you doing? I'm like, I just like gotta, massage my own brain and walk out.
Yeah.
do something else.
You're going to want to, we'll cut this out. Your hair. Like
Is it looking crazy?
No, it's not looking crazy. It's just, I know you're going to.
Where is it? Oh, Jesus. Thank you. See, I told you guys.
See, that's why I said it, because you're like, you want to know.
Yeah, because I don't want to look in the camera and be like, looking a little crazy.
That's something I've also had to adjust now that we're selling to people in government affairs, policy, different lawyers, things like that.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, government, we won't say the company that we worked for, but like, it was such a different customer base. Mm-hmm. And I've tried to explain this, that like selling to investors, they have a positive mindset. Everything is a potential gain for them to 10x an investment. So they're just naturally wired through their job and who they are even before that to look at things in a positive way. Lawyers and government affairs, they're constantly negatively wired because they're always looking at problems that come up, policies that are fucking people over. Yeah. They're all negative things. So it's like you're going to be a different person. After going through that type of job, there's two different jobs, and also the kinds of people who end up in those jobs. As you're saying about like, you attract what you know?
Yeah, you gotta like know your audience, you know, like but I do try to, no matter if I'm speaking, I always say I'll speak to the CEO the same way I speak to the janitor.
Yeah, yeah.
I like always like, because no matter what, even if people look at me different, because I know that especially like when I'm selling to a man, like they might, especially if they're older, like the old boy, like the old school boy network or whatever it's called. Yeah. And they may look at me different. It doesn't bother me, honestly. My mom told me too. Maybe it was my mom. Maybe it was my aunt. I don't know. But I heard this. It's not what you can do for the patriarchy. It's what the patriarchy can do for you. And it's like, work the system. You know, if you're a female, be charming. If you need to play dumb sometimes. And that's okay. But when it comes to like selling to government affairs individuals and lawyers, it definitely is a little dry. That's why I love the BD people.
Yeah.
I love talking to salespeople, and also the product that we sell. Like for me, I get like everything is ROI. Like, okay, I'm going to invest in this monetary wise. Like, what am I going to get out of this? Otherwise, it's like I'm just spending money to spend it. So I like talking to salespeople way more.
Yeah, yeah.
We talk the same.
I'm
like, my God.
It is easier, and you know what? I don't know. You know it works. I've only been doing it for like a month, but I've learned a lot of the different type of people and especially cold calling. Like I didn't cold call in our last job. I emailed everybody, LinkedIn, like.
Which honestly, when you get to that point, like you should do emails if that works for you.
Yeah.
It's all about results.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like, honestly, like it's so funny that I do this. Here's the other thing I've struggled with is after doing this for a full year, I ask like 3 questions at a time because I want to allow the guest to take, hey, here's 3 different questions, and whichever route you want to take, I want to give you that option.
I know where you're going with this.
Yeah, and cold calling, you have to be direct, and you have to be quick, and you have 30 seconds to gain somebody's attention, trust, respect, to give you the next 45 seconds of the conversation. And it just does not line up with how or who I am. And like, I'm trying.
Yeah.
I'm trying, but it's like I'm O for everything right now. So like it's, you know, but like on
it's
email,
tough.
I can connect because I'm like, I know what to say. I know how to go back and forth. I know how to like, again, I look at your LinkedIn. If you're a certain kind of person who's done certain activities, I know what to say. I know what to like, you know, I'll even things like something like when you're name dropping a company, I'm going to name drop Uber over Nestle. People hate Nestle. The brand recognition is terrible. Like the water bottles, all the corrupt type shit.
You got to find their competitors.
Yes.
The people they fucking hate.
Yeah.
They're using us, motherfucker. You're not.
Yeah. But like everybody knows Uber.
Join them, you know?
Everybody knows Uber. Everybody's taking an Uber. So it's like, I'm trying to be like relatable. And they're little kind of silly things, but like they do work.
The only way that I will book DMs from cold calling is, and I think that's the other thing too. Do you think, I'll ask you a question. Do you think that being a male is more challenging in sales versus being a female because maybe they trust women more, not as threatening, or like, do you think that being male versus female is like easier or harder?
No, I think being a male is easier in like not all aspects.
See,
like,
I think being a female is easier.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I think it's different because I think there's things to talk about like on average, you know, it's like on average, I think that. But here, like, yes, fuck yeah. One thing I will say though, like again, like having some self-awareness, like if I put a picture of me smiling, like I had like literally my LinkedIn picture was my college picture. I was 18 years old. but I looked young. I looked like I had a bunch of hair. Like, you know what I mean?
Young
like,
and sprung.
You look
so happy.
Yeah, but it's easier to outreach to people like that. Or if you have like a fucking mean mug on and you look like an asshole, it's like, that's going to, you know. So I think that there's a difference. I guess what I'm trying to say is I think it depends, honestly, and this is shallow, but it depends what you look like in a lot of aspects. It depends how you act, the energy that you put off. On average, I think women would have a harder time because I think, and I've seen it.
Yeah.
I've seen it in both places that we've worked. Like, again, like a woman says something and like a male in leadership or something like, oh, well, like what they mean by this is like, dude, she just said what she meant. You don't need to fucking clarify.
That's why I did a voluntary layoff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I said what I was basically, I think I told you this too. They were like, do you want to be here? Like, how happy are you? I know there's a lot of stuff going on. I was like, do you want the truth? And I was like, I was very diplomatic about it. I would never be like, I fucking hate it here. I'd be like an ass. But I was just like, I think that there's a lot of issues going on. This is how I feel. However, my job is to not care about those things. That is your job as a manager. And that is why I'm not in management. And I don't want to be in management. You have to do these long meetings to figure these things out. I want to make my money and I want to leave. That's it. So told them that I didn't necessarily agree with like upper management. And then 2 days later, I got called into a little Zoom and was told, oh, Darby, you're being put on a PIP. I started laughing. I was like, do you know what a PIP is? At this point, I'm pissed.
Yeah.
Performance improvement plan. Let's run the numbers. My numbers are good. They're the best. So how are you putting me on a performance improvement plan? Oh, it's a behavioral PIP. I go, oh, do you want me to bend over? You're going to spank me for misbehaving? I'm a grown ass woman. A behavioral PIP for what? What did I do? I wasn't mean to anybody. I'm respectful to everyone. Well, you know, your concerns of this. Oh, so you're going to preach to me that I'm supposed to be an empowered woman.
Yeah.
To think what I want. But if I don't think what you think, you can leave.
And you have behavioral problems.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I started laughing. I was like, okay, let me think about it. She's like, you can be on a PIP or you can take the severance and you can leave. And so I called my dad. I was like, Dad, I've lost my shit. He was like, you can't do this, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, I have plenty of money saved, right? We're like, it's a severance of 5-6 weeks. I have a good resume. I'll get a job. Not a big deal. I only went 2 weeks without pay, which is like nothing, because I started working at the company. And I just couldn't believe that, though. I was like, wow, how offensive, honestly. So now I kind of just smile.
And it turns out you were right about
of course
everything
I was.
you were saying.
They all burned to the ground. I'm not mad about it because listen.
I was the first one off the boat.
I said it. You were the first one off the boat, yeah.
And man, I was fucking poking holes in that.
Oh, I mean, I was applying for jobs, yeah. But it's crazy because I've had two companies that have done that to me. I've only had one, Everfi, I can say it. I loved Everfi. It was great working there. Everyone. I didn't necessarily agree with everything, but they treated their employees well, at least in my opinion, when I was there. So then when I go from bad company, really good company to bad company, I'm just not going to care. Yeah. Just going to hit my numbers. And that's why you can't invest too much because layoffs happen, you can't make it your world. Yeah. And I saw something where it was like probably a reel that I was watching at 3 o'clock in the morning when I couldn't fall asleep. It was like, Susan was in at her desk and just like they had to pack up her things because she like died all of a sudden or whatever. Yeah. And she didn't get her PTO. She didn't get her Social Security. She didn't get to spend her money. I was like, that is exactly why I like kind of have the views that I do.
So I'm going to ask you now some deeper questions after I ask this question, I'm going to hit this. But what do you want out of life? Like what is it that you want?
That's what I'm looking for. I don't know what my purpose is.
Really?
Yeah, I don't. It's not like I that's why I like feel like I need to tap into like the fitness stuff because I'm like, oh, I love it. I know like my friends and like people that like follow me are all like asking me this stuff and I could help in that way. Maybe to be a mom, but I'm just like not ready. When I see kids, I'm like, they're there. You know, I'm not there yet, but I don't really know. I think it's like to make the people around me like feel good.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of like as simple as I get.
I was gonna say from a branding perspective with your fitness stuff, because again, I said it the first thing. Like I believe in you, who you are, what you do, how you can do it. I know that if you want to do it, you're going to do it.
Thanks.
And
yeah.
And it's going to be great.
Just need to do it.
But like I think everybody needs their differentiator. Differentiator, as I'm fucking one glass of wine in.
Differentiated.
But like, what is it that you want to put out there? What is it that makes you different? What is it that makes you?
The authenticity.
Yeah.
The good thing is I make enough money to be happy where I am. If and when I do this, which I know I will, it's not going to be for money, because I'm not going to sit here and be like, use this Brazilian bum cream. I'd be like, that's stupid. There's no way. Even that lady that came up to me, I was like, don't ever spend your money on this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there is a way to like get money out of it and to make it a business, but I don't like the brand endorsement stuff necessarily. I think that there are brands I'm totally behind 100%, but it's just so salesy, and women need to hear the reality of things. And it's going back to that culture that's so protected. And if you are fat and you need to lose weight, you have to eat less. It's just calories in, calories out. People don't want to hear that.
Yeah.
It's just how it is. And I haven't seen anyone say that. My friends are like, you can't start a platform because you're going to get canceled. And I'm kind of like, maybe I'll be the Andrew Tate of women's fitness. But it's just true.
I was going to say, I thought you were going to say something else there, that if you need to lose weight, somebody needs to tell you that you are fat. And
they know.
Yeah, they do know. But it's also like, we need to talk about it. We need to talk about why you're fat.
Well, doctors also need to say, you're overweight. Your health is at risk. Yes, it's great to look good in a bikini. We all love a baddie in a bikini, right? But at the same time, what about, we're put on earth to give birth, right? You have to get your body ready for that. You have to be there for your kids, and like, you want to live a long, healthy life. The BBL baddies might not be able to like live that life. And like, you want to like look good externally when you're in your 20s, when you're single, when you're dating, of course. But there's also way deeper levels to it. So I think that people know if they don't look good. I think body positivity has gone way too far.
Yeah. I was just saying,
way too far.
That's something that seeing women who, again, like, I'm all for everybody. Everybody should be happy.
Yeah.
But the truth is,
well, if it's unhealthy, that's different.
Well, that's the thing. Also, is a lot of the happiness comes from being in fucking shape. Mm-hmm. So it's like, if we're gonna push, you can be happy at 300 pounds. You can be happy at 300 pounds. It's like, you're lying.
Yeah.
Like,
it all comes from, and the same people, a lot of the same people that are body positive hate capitalism. A lot of times they're like, oh, and consumerism. It's all the same thing. We should not be having 5 meals a day. We should not be it's all money out. And like, it makes you big. It just makes you big. Like, all the food that we're supposed to be eating. Like, I just don't agree with, like, I don't trust the FDA. I don't trust the CDC. I do my own research. I wish I had a farm. I deadass wish I had a farm.
Yeah. It sounds so sick. It sounds like, to me, that's the dream, is a self-sustaining life. Like,
yeah,
you can, and again, how do you get there? Like, part of, like we were talking about, at the little halftime break, like, if you gave me $10 billion, like, the game's over. I don't want that. Like, really, what I want is the chase. I want the fucking rush. I want the, like,
totally,
like, doing this. It's something that is like, this is not, I'm excited about it. I'm fucking stoked. I love doing every single one of this. We have years. Like, this, to me, this is a lifelong project. Like, we're not even fucking scratching the surface of where it's going to go and what it's going to do. It's like, I want that challenge because I want to fucking keep scratching an itch. Like, and people need to do that.
There's something about certain people, though, that like don't want that. They just want to be content. And that's why I say money doesn't buy you happiness. I don't think, like, in anything that I say, people, not everyone's going to agree with me. And I know that. It's just like my own perspective, because I have friends that are like, well, if I had like this type of lifestyle, I'd be happy. You could throw me in that environment, like on a yacht with all these fucking billionaires and this and that. But like, that doesn't excite me.
Yeah. What have you seen from like having experiences like that? Like, what have you picked up? What have you, from a human standpoint of like, is it real? Is it,
what do you mean?
Is it acting? You know what I mean? Like, it's like, hey, if you put a bunch of rich people, it's like, do they actually like each other? Are they like being fake? Or are they real?
Where I was, but there was a lot of really attractive girls on the yacht. Can't even say boat, the mega yacht. And I was smoking cigars with the guys, which I was like masculine energy yet again. But like, I think that for them, we think that they're so different than us. They look like Adam Sandler, like dressed like Adam Sandler. What is it? My friend told me this saying. It's like money screams and wealth whispers or something like that. Which like wealth is stealth, like all of that type of stuff I fully believe, but like they just want to sit and talk to normal people.
Yeah.
And like we had a great time just chatting. We were talking about like deep stuff like this too, like the reality of things. And some of the other girls were like, oh yeah, just like drinking and this and that. And I think that most people are more common than we think, like especially with like the media and all this stuff going on. I think like for instance, the US, probably 95 of the US, like 95% probably wants a common thing, right? But they have like the Democrats versus the Republicans.
Yeah.
Most of us are moderate and just want like the economy to be good, the world not be blowing up. And we kind of forget that. And so a lot of my friends that are like super like liberal, which like is I honestly am very moderate on a lot of things, but I would never identify as liberal, just full transparency. And so when I hear what they're talking about and stuff, I'm like, even though you say that you're liberal, we agree on so much stuff. Like we agree on a ton of stuff. Like why do I feel like it's one side versus the other, black and white? Like there's a ton of gray, and that's how it is. Same with like corporate stuff. There's not a right way or wrong way to do it. Most of us kind of like have the same common theme, which is just to like be chill and like live life. It's not that serious again, So...
Would you ever host a podcast?
I've thought about it, but again, with like, dude, I've had like so many ups and downs with like work and sales. I've had good companies, I've had bad companies. And that's why I feel so happy where I am now, because the comp structure is good. That's all I care about. I told Austin that. Yeah. And he's like, you don't love to talk to lawyers all day? I'm like, I actually don't mind it, but like, I wouldn't do it for free. I like to get paid, but it has consumed like a lot of my life, I feel like. But now that I'm in my flow, I'm like, I have a lot more time to do stuff, and I'm like crackhead. I'm like, what else can I do? I'm always doing stuff. So if I took some of that time and actually invested it in something, which I really want to do, like, honestly, this is just like motivating me to do it. I feel like I could do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I never shut up.
Because, but before we were talking about like what you love to do is like you said, like, I just love to talk to people. I love to just have conversations. And I'm obviously the same way. It was like, I could sit here for 12 hours.
Same.
Like it's always what, I grew up doing it too. Like I've always just been having these conversations, but it's, I'm wondering what, again, the differentiator, like for somebody like you to be able to have the brand, because you have all of the intangibles, and it's just, we were talking to Mitchell about this earlier. It's like for our branding sake of like figuring things out, it's like, I know I got to do other shit. Like I know what I could and should do is doing those like Instagram talk to the camera, or just like put my thoughts out there to the world.
I do
like,
that on my close friends all.
Yeah. But it's, like, I hate the view of my own face sometimes. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't want to put it out there. I don't know why. I'm like, you don't get access to me. You get to see this persona of who I am and who I present, but like, I'm only putting my close friends on my close friends.
So here's what, like, I was thinking about naming this episode, because we like kind of like put like names, and I tried to do a lot of, same solo or whatever that's called, but like double agent Darby. Like you are a double agent. You are one person
at
work.
Double life.
Yeah, completely.
I live like a quadruple life.
What are the other two parts?
I don't know. Like I like have like my party, like my fun time with like my girlfriends and all that stuff, where I'm like their biggest fan and all of that. Definitely like the gym persona, the corporate persona. And then I don't know, maybe just 3.
There's a random question that came when you were talking about your friends. You mentioned your friends a lot, which is,
I have like 5.
Sick. They sound awesome. Shout out your friends. What do you think makes a good friend from a woman's perspective? And this is like the questions I sent that I didn't even talk about.
Yeah.
But like, I really wanted to learn, like, again, male's perspective, female's perspective, so completely different. What makes a good guy friend is so different. And, there's similarities. There's some things, but like, what makes a good girlfriend? Like,
definitely someone who is just like cheering for you. I think that women are so innately like competitive with each other. Like I had a friend that she didn't say that she was competitive with me, but I know she was. And I'm like, we are just apples and oranges. We're not in the same field. There's nothing that's really similar. But like I felt that weird competitive. And I'm like, the only person I'm competing with is myself, which sounds dumb, but it's true. Like I don't really like compare myself to my friends. I have really good girlfriends. I'm very lucky. But those are the circles that I talk to. And if I sense something weird, because I'm a Cancer, if I sense something, I'm not keeping you close to me. And I know within like 5 minutes of meeting you if you're going to be a good friend of mine or not.
I love that.
It's just on and off. I can tell. It's the same thing even with sales. Like I can tell if a deal is going to close based on who I'm talking to.
Yeah.
So weird.
Very quickly. Very quickly. That's the whole goal, is like to be, intuitive about it.
Yeah. That, and then also, so like being supportive, and then also just like giving a fuck, like being around, because some people get so sucked into like their own world and stuff. But like I have friends, like the one that I'm visiting here in Philly, Fowler, she is a few years older than me. She's in like her early 30s, but we met at work and we just stayed in touch over the past like 8 years. She's like one of my best friends. And I know she's just like a lifelong friend. We don't talk all the time, but that's my girl.
Yeah.
We just vibe. And all of my friends, I know you talk about like the masculine energy. Most of them are so relaxed because my younger friends will tell me about the drama. And I'm like, yawn. I couldn't. Because men have camaraderie. We don't really have that, in my opinion. I haven't necessarily felt that until recently, till I'm with my girls and like we're just like vibing. But it's a lot of girl groups have so many issues and I'm just not here for it.
Yeah, it's like when it gets catty.
I'd rather be by myself. Like I'm chilling.
Yeah.
I told myself this the other day. if I could literally make a copy of me, we be besties.
Really? But wow, I think about this sometimes.
I'm obsessed with myself.
Really? I really love myself too in a lot of ways, but I think I fucking hate myself. I think I'd not kill myself.
No way.
I don't know. I think about it because I like to talk to and think about like twins. Like what they go through, the different kinds of life. Like I have two friends, shout out the Burn Moms, they know. But they're like 4 years, they were seniors when I was freshman in college. And they were like the older brothers I ever had. And they were like, I'll never forget the first time, first college party. I'm a freshman on the lacrosse team trying to be like cool and meet everybody.
Laxers,
exactly. And and I go up and I'm like, you guys look so different. And like one of them was, they're like Long Island fucking.
Let's go. Of course, with lacrosse. Yeah.
And they're like, Italian, like, or like whatever they are, they're fucking intense and like you'll fucking figure it out. And they're like, just
are they single?
Yeah, they both just got married.
Damn.
They're
Shout
great.
out to the wives.
Yeah,
good shit.
But they're very like being good friends with both of them. And I also just had my friend Sean Kent, who the episode's going to come out this week, but he's also a twin. And it's like you have somebody that you're literally tied to.
Yeah.
Personality wise, physically, you look exactly like them. People get you confused. People treat you. You're a unit together.
If you're identical, though, right? Yeah,
yeah. That's and they both these sets are. But I don't know. I'm always just I don't even know where that was coming from or where I was going with it.
That's interesting though. With twins, I always thought I would never want an actual twin because we'd compete. If I'm competitive with myself, that bitch, it's not gonna be good. But I think like it's more of like, would I want to like date me? Is that so weird to think about? I was like, would I be a good partner? I don't know. I have to like take myself out of my body and be like, you've got some issues, bitch, for sure. But not bad. Pretty loyal.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Kind of fun. Bad jokes. A little rough around the edges, but like we can work on it. You know what I mean? I'm like, all right, what, like, if I'm looking down on me, like, what could I fix? You know?
Yeah. So, that's interesting. I think it sounds like we've had a lot of the same thought processes about, especially like relationship type stuff. Like I thought like, look, dude, like at the end of the day, like I said to one of my best friends, Beeve.
His name's Beef?
Beeve, Beave. His last name's Beaver. Funny. So he's it's shortened. He's the goat. But I said, I was like, this podcast, like it's like people say nice things and they like listening to it, which I really appreciate. Everyone listening, thank you. I fucking love you. But like,
please don't cancel me.
Imagine having this podcast on 24/7 and it's only me. That's what it's like living in my head. Like, it's like, I think this fucking deeply all the time. And
that's crazy.
Yes, exactly. So
I'm like, do. There's like monkeys like with tambourines. Like,
But I'm like, yo, like, look, like you don't like trust me. Like, I know it sounds great. Like I always make the joke, like people listen to Joe Rogan's, like Joe Rogan's listening to the Joe Rogan podcast all day, every day in his head. Like he clearly thinks, and like, that's what it's like in my head, like all the fucking time. And it's like entertaining, or I hope informative for some people.
Do you ever like let your mind like relax?
Yeah. I meditate. And so I got this, and you know, the drugs have helped in different ways.
Yeah.
But my point is that like, I have a hard enough time dealing with this up here anyway. So it's like to ask somebody else to deal with that too. Like sometimes, like again, like I just know that I'm not where I need to be. I think I'm
like distorted mentally. You just said that and I was thinking, a motherfucker would be lucky to deal with my mind. Am I like crazy? It's kind of like a Kanye mentality sort of thing.
That's great though. But see, like
it's also like a little delusional because I'm definitely not like that great. But you know what I mean? I think I've just like done so much positive reinforcement that like I actually believe it now. Do you know what I mean? How people are like, you look in the mirror, you're like, I'm ugly. And then you're like, no, you're pretty, you're good looking, you're fun, you're cool. I think I preach that so much that I'm like, no one can touch me. I'm like,
I mean,
I gotta tone it back. I've been humbled by that guy on the street though that called me an ugly bitch.
I think everybody secretly does. Cause like, here's what I'll say is like, I feel that way at the same time. I'm so grateful for me in my mind. Like I'm so fucking grateful. Yes, it's chaos. Yeah, it's fucking nuts. It's like, but dude, I love it. That's why I do it. And that's why I put it out there. Like clearly I've said like one of the first, I think it was the 4th episode. I said like, there's something very narcissistic in my opinion about what I'm doing here, or what like anybody who hosts a podcast. And I don't mean it in a negative way. It's just, you have to literally think that you're interesting enough, or having interesting enough conversations, or good enough at asking questions, or good enough at hosting to put that out there every week. There's a certain level, just like fitness. There's a certain level of feeling confident to be able to put shit out on the internet.
It's so self-absorbed.
Yeah.
It's like, look at me, haha. But it's like the only way though to get attention. To be like, I actually did this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What else are you gonna do, you know?
And that's the thing. It's like, but it's not, I don't mean narcissistic in the bad thing. Like I also think there's a lot of these words that have negative connotations that shouldn't. Like I say sometimes like I'm crazy. And I think I am crazy. The way I think's crazy. The way like before I started this podcast, I told everyone, I was, you know, dealing with a little bit of mania, but I was like, I'm going to be interviewing presidents someday. Like I'm going to be, this is going to go so fucking far. It's not even crazy. And like the craziest part is people like, they're like, yeah, I think so too. I'm like, wow. Shit.
I said that to my friend. I was like, I was like telling her about the podcast, and I was like, Chris, like he speaks well, like he's easy to talk to, all that stuff.
But I believe it. I think it was what I was born to do is the thing. It's like you're talking about finding your passion. Like I know this is what I'm supposed to do. I know this is like,
I love that. I got chills. Like, I love that.
And whether it's good or bad, because it's like there's certain negative parts of it. There's certain negative parts of it. And that's what I think. I'm doing a lot of me talk today, but sorry.
No, I love it.
I feel really comfortable.
I'm asking you questions. Yeah.
But
good, you should.
Keep
drinking, motherfucker. Yeah. Who's got do we have any whiskey?
Yeah. Just kidding. Oh shit.
Rip out the fireball.
No, I'm not brown liquor. Fuck.
No, same. I'll be punching holes in the walls.
Yeah. Talk about fucking problems.
Yeah, why? I don't know. That's another conversation.
But the way that I think about this is like, look, I'm gonna have kids.
Yeah.
And they're gonna have their father is gonna have fucking thousands of hours of their deep shit out there. Like Joe Rogan cannot live a normal life. And like that's how I think that, you know, again, not if, but I just think that when you find something, you want to do it as much as you enjoy it. And both of those are like 100 out of 10 for me. I'm very lucky that that's the fact. But like, yes, there's some negative things. This will take, you know, there's certain, again, I'm talking about not being able to spend money because I'd rather buy an extra camera than go spend money at the bar, you know, like.
I don't think that's even negative though.
Some people do.
Fuck them.
Sorry, it was a shot. Fuck. Cheers.
Bad words. Mom, sorry. She told me not to curse. Yeah. She's like, be a lady. I'm like, yes, ma'am. Yeah, I agree with all of that stuff. I don't know. Mindset is so everything. It really is. And I've noticed too, like, I can't keep people that are negative around me, dude. Like, I was talking about this the other day with one of my friends, and she was saying how one of her girlfriends is just, she has a lot of problems and she feels bad for her. And I'm the type of friend that will always support you and lift you up, but it will come to a point when if you're negative, I just don't want to be around you and I won't be friends with you. Figure your shit out or don't. I'm not going to be there. I'll be there to support you. And I have one friend like that from home that's like a little crazy. And after years of like really reinforcing, like trying to be positive, trying to get to the solution of the problem, it's just woe is me, the victim. And I was like, I'm done. I'm not adopted because I'm fortunate enough to live a good life. And like people always say, oh, you're privileged. Yeah, I am. And like, I'm going to enjoy that. What am I going to, I'm not put on earth to serve my whole life to fix everyone's problems. Because I could also sit here and say, like I was years ago, I'm depressed, I'm fat, and be on the other side.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm unbothered by that. Good luck. It is what it is.
Have you done any like public speaking ever?
I was painfully shy growing up, like so painful where I would like hide behind my mom's leg sort of thing. And then I remember I had to start like reading aloud. First of all, I hate reading aloud. I don't know why. I can speak, but I can't read aloud. I probably have some underlying like learning disabilities, honestly. But I haven't like done public speaking, but I don't mind it. Like my roommate my old roommate that's getting married asked me to do a speech. I'm in her wedding party. And she was like, can you do a speech? I'm like, I'm not the maid of honor, but like, I'll throw down.
I was gonna say, you were so down to do it so quickly. Like there's certain people in my life, like I love talking to everybody. But there's certain people that would like jump and like do something like this.
Yeah. My friends always say that like I'm always talking to random people, meeting the most interesting people. I swear it's like an energy thing. Like the craziest shit happens to me all the time. I have like so many stories, but my friend Caroline in particular, she's always like, you are so magnetic. Like you're talking to everyone, even the people that are like the most shy in the room sort of thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, I think it's because I was a weenie and like, I don't want people to feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I like to talk.
I do. I mean, I also just like talking to like random ass strangers on the street. Like I've sat and I've talked with a lot of like homeless people, or I've just like, even like, it sounds silly, but like asking a waiter like how they're doing. You know what I mean? Like they're having an entire day and they're just like constantly dealing with people. I'm like, does anybody ever ask like, how's your day going?
Yeah.
You having fun? Like everything all good? Like
I'm the same way.
Yeah. But like even that little conversation is like.
Even the guy yesterday that was our waiter, I was like, which one do you like better? And he was like thinking, because I was like trying to pick a main dish. And I was like, you look like a short rib kind of guy. He was just like, how did you know? It's like things like that, just like breaking down that we don't have to be so formal all the time, and everyone just wants that human connection. And if you don't, you're not going to be in the service industry.
Yeah. Well, that's also why I think people listen to podcasts so much. Yeah. And like people, like they're literally everyone, again, we've said like you feel like a fly on the wall.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which can be a good or a bad thing. That's why I feel like now too, like that reality TV show that I was interviewing for.
Can you talk about that?
So weird.
Or even a little bit.
I was really excited for it because I was like, oh, this is my ticket out of like the corporate world type of thing. And then when I was like doing the interview and like talking with them and the next steps and this and that, I had just watched the show and I was like, oh, hell no. This is not up my alley for so many different reasons. But I think the main reason is because I can't be me. And I'm just not at the point where I'm going to put something out there that's not genuine.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to like sell my soul.
Couldn't you be?
I'm not trying to sell my soul. I'm not trying to have somebody that's behind a screen in LA make me a puppet because I know that's exactly what they're going to do. And I'm the one that's going to get in trouble because I'm going to be like, no.
It is weird how that entire industry works. There's so many, like I was thinking about it the other day, like people who, again, like do like big podcasts and stuff, like wrestlers, like UFC fighters, like again, even politicians, like everyone just having that platform to like.
And I think too, like we know with like censorship and all of that stuff, like you're supposed to say a certain thing and do this. And one of the things that I was like, this is the even more as to why I'm not doing it is they're like, you need to swipe your social media to make sure you don't offend anybody in like something that you've said ever in life. And I'm like, I'm not the one.
Wow.
We grew up with Twitter in 2009. That was so, I don't know what I said back then. How is that relevant to me in 2024?
Yeah.
But they will not let me on because of that.
That's the other thing. That is.
I'm like, no.
Again, back to our age range and how we are. Like people said wild shit on
wild
Twitter
shit.
And it's like also, but we were 13.
Song lyrics.
Yeah.
Not me preaching, not me saying anything. Yeah. Song lyrics. And she was like, anything that has any bad words in the background of your stories or in the background of your highlights. I'm like, dude, I'm sorry. I'm just not doing that.
Yeah.
If it's there, that's okay. If I've gotten corporate jobs and I'm hired, I think I'm good enough to get through. It's like you can't say certain things. And I'm not saying things or like, again, like I don't want to like purposefully offend anybody, but if I have a song lyric on my Twitter from 2009 and you're offended by that, I'm not made for this.
But it's also like, does it actually even say anything about the person? It's like can't the explanation sometimes just be like they were 13?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, they said dumb. Yeah, it's like
I'm like, okay, like if we're so worried about that, then how come like I don't want to get political, but how come Hunter Biden can be like having sex with strippers and he's not in trouble, but I can't go on a reality TV show and I drop like, you know, a word or two back in like a decade ago.
Yeah.
It's going back again to the hypocrisy. Like it's like the hypocrisy is crazy.
And also it's kind of like what I was saying before is like you're freezing time. That never happened even 50 years ago where it was like, oh no, this person like, cause like how did people communicate then? It was like writing letters. Mm-hmm. This person wrote a letter like 20 years ago that said some bad shit. It's like that didn't happen, you know?
Yeah.
So now everybody just has this entire
digital footprint.
Yeah. That is turned.
You have to be careful.
Yeah. That has multiplied their life kind of already. Mm-hmm. Their consciousness out there, their signal out there into the world.
Yeah. And that's why I stopped doing the TikTok. Cause like my mom and even my brother were like, and I told them, I was like, if I really want to do like this fitness stuff, like bikini stuff, like get some of those views and this and that. And they were like, do better, which is true. Because they're like, you have a job, you make money. What are you doing? And I was like, yeah, I'm kind of like putting out like not who I am just for that.
Yeah.
And it does stick with you, you know, and people don't really like think about that. Yeah. Like I was fortunate enough for like, I never did anything bad like that. Like worse than, you know, bikini picture video, me in a bikini or two. But there are some people that it haunts them. I remember girls that had like nudes leaked, a girl dropping the N-word on Twitter. She was big canceled. There was all types of shit. You have to be careful. Well, that was just dumb. Yeah. That was stupid. And also like, you shouldn't say that.
But it's just, again, you're canceled to so many more people so much quicker than like, you could just move. Like 50 years ago, if that happened, like you could just move to Seattle and just like start a new life.
Exactly.
Now you can't.
Exactly.
All right, so this my one of my best friends, Aiden, this is the coolest thing. He got me a Christmas gift and he sent a book and like these little things. And I knew exactly what happened. I was like, I know you went to buy that book and then saw this on the like suggested and you're like, fuck it, and threw it in the cart. And he's like, that's exactly what happened.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. But I haven't seen
Icebreakers.
This is one of the first ones. Let's go in the middle.
Yeah, you got to pick a random one, obvi.
If you met your hero, what question would you ask? These aren't that deep.
I don't really, my hero's my mom.
That's so cute.
The way you just looked at me. I mean, I don't like have a hero. I was like, who should I?
You know, I kind of feel the same way. I was like, who's my hero? I don't know. Like,
I thought of like God and then my mom.
God? Are you religious?
No, but I have been way more spiritual recently and it's been great.
Yeah.
I'm like, because I grew up like going to Catholic school. My brother was raised, baptized Greek Orthodox, because my grandma was like, we're not going to have a Catholic. We're going to have Greek Orthodox.
Isn't that the intense one? Or?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I went to my grandma's funeral and after an hour-long service, I turned to my mom. I was like, I wish dad taught me Greek. And she was like, that's English. I was like, oh, this is English? Like the accent was so thick and it was so gaudy. You know, like, so like my big fat Greek wedding type of vibe. It was really interesting. But what was the original question?
I don't know, just about religion. I think like church
is
like weird. It's a
I don't relate to church personally.
Yeah. I don't want to say weird. I mean, I support, like I've, you know, fallen deeper into my own faith, but like going to church every Sunday, like I'm not, like I do pray like most nights, but like going to church on Sunday and just hearing, you know, some random, I don't know, maybe I should, but like just a lot to like.
It's great for people that works for. I agree.
Yeah.
And I went to church so much growing up. It's just not my vibe. Sundays I meal prep and like I'll like reflect and like do spiritual stuff.
Yeah.
Which I think is just like a lot of like deep thought. I think a huge theme of that is just being grateful, you know, whether it's like you're praying or you're just like being like, wow, I'm so grateful for like all of these different things. But I wouldn't say I'm religious, but I'm also like not an atheist.
Yeah, yeah. Believe in something.
I'm Christian for sure.
Yeah. Have you ever gotten into like yoga?
Not for me.
No? Why?
I'm way too crazy. I'm way too crazy for yoga. I'm like, can I deadlift some? But no, I did yoga and Pilates. It doesn't soothe me. I get very anxious when I do it for some reason. I think it's like too calming. It's not that my way to relax is like after work or after I've had a long day, I like to just put my feet up. I'll FaceTime my friends and like laugh with them. Like that's relaxing to me. Or like, just being around family and my friends.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just simple stuff.
I just read about it. Like, I think it's called like Kundalini yoga, or like your Kundalini, which is like happening when you're doing that kind of yoga, is like your energy rises. And for some people, it rises too quickly and can make them, like you're saying, like anxious. Like,
Interesting.
Like for some people, it's like a slow, like
that's probably me.
Like peaceful. And then some people, it's like,
I'm like, I gotta get out of here.
This is bringing up too much, too fast. Like
I did a hot yoga though. No, it was a hot Pilates, I think. I liked that. But like for me, because I don't feel really super anxious, I see yoga and Pilates as like, look at me in my yoga pose right now. I see that as being like a workout. And for me, I don't feel like I'm exerting the energy that I want to.
Yeah.
I like to be like a little intense.
Yeah.
Like even like Equinox, Lifetime Fitness, like I go to Gold's Gym.
So how long do you, this is because like I haven't lifted in so long, like a strict actual lifting plan. Like I said, I was like, I'll do like push-ups and jumping jacks and run and like whatever. But like, how long are you working out for?
Not that long. I mean, an hour.
And 5 times a week.
Yeah, at least 5 times a week. I'll try to go 6. Sometimes like this week, I think I went like 4 times. So I'm not as strict as I should be.
Yeah.
But I try to do every day during the week. I have an apartment gym in my apartment, which like will get it done. Like if I need to do like arms and like upper body, but I definitely want to get more and that's why I started going at 5 a.m. is because I found myself not sticking to the routine because there was too many people there.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I hate that I have to go at 5 o'clock in the morning, but I'm like, again, if I want to get it done, I'm going to get it done. So I'll just have to go, unfortunately, 5 o'clock in the morning.
Have you ever done like F45 or any of those like paid, like Orange Theory type?
Yes.
Like girls love Soul Cycle, right? Like the cycling.
Not for me. So one of my friends who's like, she's just getting into working out, she likes doing the classes because she's like, I don't want to pay for the fee. I'm like, I'll pay you $500 to not work out. If I don't have the energy, I don't want to do it. I have my energy in the morning now because I had to train from when I was at the block.
Yeah.
I would go 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock because I could. There was no one there. Now I can't with the new job. So I'll go early and I have my energy, but I don't like classes because I just don't feel like I like to be on my own. I don't like to be around other people. I wear a hat and a hoodie.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk to people.
Headphones.
Yeah. I want to be locked in. I don't want to listen to your Taylor Swift when I'm on a bike. That's my nightmare. I want to be listening to Lil Baby when I'm like deadlifting next to all the men that are like sweating like nasty beefcakes.
That's wild. It is funny. Like I think about it. It's just like they get like those things, they get in like a trance. Like you get like 20 women. Again, like people like syncing up energy wise. Like everyone's like, it's like, oh, screaming.
Some people love that.
Yeah.
And it's like, I've been there and I've felt it, not like to my core, but like I get it. I did Orange Theory for a while. Not a while. I think I did like 3 months of it when I was in DC when I was first trying to like lose weight. And it was good for me because I needed that structure. And I think it was so overpriced.
Yeah.
For someone to be yelling at me to be on a treadmill, like, why can't I do this for free?
It is funny to think about like coaching. Like I did F45 once.
Mm-hmm. I've never done it.
Right? And I was just like, this is so intense.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, you're kicking my ass. Like why is anybody paying for this? You know what I mean? Like you can work out on your own pace and I get it. It's 45 minutes, it's like you're part of a group and team. And I don't know. I was laughing the other day. I had it was like one of those run groups. There's like 50 people running together.
Yeah.
That passed me and I was like, those people are having way too much fun. Like,
yeah. I love to be isolated when I work out. That's why the group things don't work for me. And also like I want to do what I want.
Yeah.
Like I want to do like my workouts. I don't want you to tell me what to do. I've never had a personal trainer or anything.
Yeah. But, in college we had a strength and conditioning coach. So
that's different sports teams. I feel like,
and that's the thing. It's like I got yelled at 5 a.m. all the time. It's like I never want to work out at 5 a.m. again.
That's why I don't like to run.
Yeah,
my knees are shot.
Really?
I tore my hip flexor, and like I squat very light because I can feel like I just don't think it ever recovered, and I should probably fix that. But I'm like, I'm not going to do anything that's going to hurt me. So I squat like. I'll do like a lot of squats, but like 35 pounds on each side.
Yeah.
That's not even 135. But like, that's fine.
Yeah.
I'm not going to hurt myself. My favorite is when I see like the ego lifting.
Oh, what, like guys like.
And I'm like, you're going to snap your back. Bent over rows, things like that. I keep it form is good.
Yeah.
I don't want to hurt myself.
Same. That's what I think about when I do all that stuff. Like I'm like,
No.
if I'm doing like free weight type shit and like trying to like, again, like get in that kind of shape. Like I just don't know if I need to be in that kind of shape, like big and like.
Unless you're like bodybuilding or you really want to, it can be I think again, like what really matters is like your form. That's where all the injuries happen. That's why people like fuck their backs up and like their legs. Like I was doing, I used to be able to do a lot of the leg press where we do like 545 plates on each side. So that's like, I don't even know. It's like 400 something pounds. So I tried to do it the other day and I had to use my hands to push my legs up. And I was like, girl, you're going to be out of the gym for like what am I trying to do?
Yeah. If you like tear a,
why do I need to do that? Why 400 pounds? What?
Yeah. That's why kids that like, kids that play the college lacrosse with, they'll still play like in lacrosse tournaments.
Yeah.
My
like friend.
Like sales guys and they're like playing in tournaments. Like, dude, you can like, people like tear their ACL and it's like, dude, you're 28 or like 30 playing like summer lacrosse. And you like, look, I love lacrosse just as much as the next guy, but like, I don't want to ever do that again.
I haven't played soccer because I'm so nervous I'm not going to be good. I ended on a high note. Yeah, I'm going to keep it that way.
Yeah. Exactly.
Haven't touched a soccer ball.
Exactly.
My cardio is also not there, but
I'm going to do one more of these because I'm just interested of like what these things.
Yeah, keep pulling these up.
Oh wait, this topic is exposed. So, oh my God, jeez.
What is it?
Jeez, what's the saddest memory from your childhood? Like, I don't know if you need to get it.
The saddest memory from my childhood. Well, it's nice because I can't even think of one off the top of my head. It's so funny because like
that's great. That's the best answer.
my brother had such a different, probably like my brother and like my parents getting into like huge arguments. My brother would like pack his shit up in like a little suitcase, like at 6 years old and like run at the end of the street, like hide under people's decks, running away.
Yeah.
But like I'm like fortunate, like I don't, unless I really pushed it back, like I don't really think I had like a lot of sad stuff.
Yeah.
My grandfather dying was really sad. That's typical.
How old were you?
I was like 5.
So
it was sad. So I saw my dad cry for the first time, but like I was so young, I didn't like process it.
Yeah. I was gonna say, because it's still in your memory. It's still in your like, it happened, but you don't.
But Casey was like, our childhood like was so like, you know, blah, blah, blah. Butterflies and rainbows over here. I don't know if I was like in La La Land or what, but my parents did a really good job of raising me.
I love that.
Shout out to Charlie and Darlene. Thanks, guys.
Courage. Where in your life could courage create closure?
Courage create closure.
They get more intense as you pull them.
I feel like I've wrapped up what I've needed to. Honestly.
Nice.
I feel like I've done that because there's nothing that's lingering right now. I used to go to a therapist, and then more recently I've been going to a life coach. Way more positive outlook. I like it a lot better.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Therapy to me was again like kind of like digging down deep. And the other guy that I've been going to is like, what are you worried about? I'm a very tough love person and I'm receptive to that. I know not everybody is, but like, I was like, oh shit, you're right. Yeah. And he like really lifts me up. And so like, I feel like all the things that I need to do closure wise, like I've done.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. It does. It's funny to think about. It's like a much more positive mindset.
I don't know why.
Because in therapy, you really do like all you do is like bring up your problems.
It's and one thing was super impactful that my life coach told me. And he was like, your rear view is so much bigger than your windshield.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, Roger.
And that's part of the whole thing, I guess, like in therapy, is like you talk about all the negative stuff because it's like what's coming up for you. It's like you could be talking about the shit that's going well, you know?
Exactly.
Like, but it is nice.
And it really shapes your mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
I haven't met with him recently because I haven't needed to. Maybe I should drop him a note. I think about that all the time though.
All right, last one. Let's see. This is a different side. Oh, self-awareness. What parts of your life have you still not figured out?
Everything. I feel like everything. I'm just kind of like, I just wing it.
Yeah.
You know, there's my purpose in life, right? But also I'm like, there's nothing wrong with just being a person in the Matrix,
Yeah.
you know, and I'm vibing out. That's okay.
That's nice.
I sound like a hippie, but like I kind of guess I am a little bit, but I'm not.
Yeah. But I mean, hey,
But I'm
at
not.
least it is a nice way to live. It's really nice because like I know how that feels. I know how that
Yeah.
feels. And that's the thing is like there's different moments because like I don't know if I feel that way anymore right now. But there's times in your life where it's like everything's clean right now. You know, it's like life is
Yeah.
good. Like everything's chilling. I'm getting there, but
Like for instance, like I could sit here and say like, oh, I don't have a boyfriend. Valentine's Day is coming up. No one's gonna send me flowers.
see, women, dude. Sorry.
I'm like,
but
I don't care. I'm gonna send myself the really expensive ones.
I need to like set an alarm for Valentine's Day to just know that it's like coming up. Like it's
I'm
so
gonna
funny.
send some to my mom.
That's so sweet.
Isn't that cute?
That's sweet.
I can be sweet. See, I'm feminine sometimes.
Yeah. But no. Well, thank you so much for coming. These questions are funny. But it was really nice to
It was great.
sit down with you and have like a serious conversation than a not serious conversation. So
Always.
I appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Can you tell me again how
Yes.
to say your last name?
Sinunu.
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 You can say Sinunu
Sinunu.
and I won't get mad.
Darby.
That's why they gave me the first name Darby. So
Darby
it's just like
Sinunu.
a one-liner.
Darby Sinunu.
Darby Sinunu.
Thank you so much for coming up.
Thank you. Awesome.